Had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the Alley in downtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in on a, is this a winter day? My goodness, 70 degrees. Although it's supposed to drop 30 degrees tonight, just so you're aware. It's going to get cold. It's going to be January like it should be. And Brett, I had every intention today to start out talking about Grizz. And there's 6 wins in a row.
Grizz fever.
13 out of 19 and locked into that 8th position now for the playoffs. And what John Morant did yesterday.
Freak show last night.
I got a question for you a little bit
later. It'll be
later.
remember when you saw it.
Got a question for you about what was the best move this management made. We'll get into that in a little bit. But my phone just got blown up this afternoon. People worried. What's wrong with Precious Achiuwa? What's wrong with Lester Quinones? The rumor, and I think one of the .coms reported that they would not be playing tomorrow night, and that is just not true. I just got back from a Penny Hardaway press conference at the Laurie Walton practice facility, and he was asked point blank about those two. Achiuwa apparently rolled an ankle in practice yesterday. He finished practice. He's had all kinds of treatment today. Will probably go through a little bit of practice today as well, and is expected on the court. Lester Quinones was also a question mark. I don't know if that was health or if there were other reasons there. When asked again, he said he expects both Precious Achiuwa and Lester Quinones to be on the court tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Bearcats.
That's good news.
It is good news.
Because it's a big game tomorrow night against the longtime rival with a new coach.
And a team that is not the same team. They're not nearly as good defensively.
30-win team last year, weren't they?
And they've only won 10 so far and lost 6. They're 3-1. Really a game better than a half game better than the U of M in conference play. So this one certainly will be important. The guy who was the player of the year last year, Jaron Cumberland, is only averaging 13 points. He is not shooting the ball nearly as well. He is not used to John Brannon's system.
It's been a tough mesh so far.
It has been. It has been. And I don't know what the line in that game is for tomorrow. I suspect Memphis will be 6 to 8 point favorite would be my bet.
They'll be favored at home at FedEx Forum, and it should be rocking. It's a very big game. Last year, Cincinnati regular season, I think 30 wins. And they were a 5 or 6 seed in the tournament.
They were 28-7 a year ago.
Regular season.
Overall record, 28 wins. They finished second to Houston in the regular season in Memphis in the American. They were just a number 7 seed in the tournament, and they fell to the 10th seed Iowa in the opening round.
Because I'm just wondering where the champions of the AAC will fall this year. And I think it's going to be Memphis, but I just wonder what their seed, because of all the seeding out there. And I heard Jerry Palm, earlier today with Greg and Eli, and
but he has them as an 8 seed, right?
He has as an 8. Shelby Mast at Bracket Wagon. We'll start visiting with Shelby in a couple Mondays regularly. He has them as an 8. Mike DeCourcy has them as a 6 for Fox College basketball.
That is the best seeding that I've seen so far in all the mocks. And
I think
I can't remember which paper is doing this, but they're doing a composite list every week now, and the best I've seen is 6. Since the loss or the 2 in a row, the best you see is a 6.
Tigers go 15-3 in conference. They should do 14-4.
Well, if you just take a look at their immediate next few weeks. Cincinnati at Tulsa, SMU at home, at UCF, worst team in the league. Then UConn at home, Temple at home, USF at home. That's all the way through February 8th. They'll be the favorite in every one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
double digit in some of them.
And if they were to win those, that would be 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They would be 20-3 when they head to Cincinnati and to Connecticut in a 2-game swing over Valentine's Day or around Valentine's Day. That would make them 9-1 in conference play. So this is the stretch. This is where you lost your 2 in a row, and nobody expected you to win at Wichita State, even with James Wiseman, as you made that remark. I think when we all did our predictions early on, I think all of us had a loss at Wichita State. That was with Wiseman. Yeah. So now you had your scare at USF. Now you gotta get it together.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cincinnati from last year, and they were 29-5 regular season according to ESPN. I thought it was more wins than that. 29-5.
Well,
beat Kansas State and then lost to UCLA in the tournament to finish 30-6.
Well, what I'm looking at, and these are the game notes for tomorrow, are they were 28-7 and 14-4 in the American. And I know they didn't win the conference last year, and 30 would have won it because they finished second to Houston.
I'm looking at it, and it was 30-4 regular season and 16-2 in the conference. So,
okay.
But anyway,
I'll double check on that. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit. In the meantime, question for you. You were there last night. I got another question for you later, too, that I think is it's incredible, pertaining to Connecticut and the Memphis women last night, which was really a good game. Best crowd I've seen there in 2 years.
Did you ever think the win was going to happen?
No. I mean, they are still the 4th-ranked best team in the country.
Still UConn.
But I will say this. Of all the teams I've seen with him over the years, this may be the worst.
Like Roy Williams, huh?
A little bit. Except he's still 4th in the country. He's only lost 1 game. They were down after the first. They were down 6 points after the first quarter. Memphis has never led them after a quarter. It was a 2-point game at the half. They won the 4th quarter. If they had finished wide open layups that they missed, 3 of them down the stretch, they'd have really been in the game. It was terrific. So, I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think? Gino Auriemma's only had 1 head coaching job. It's at UConn. It's his 35th year. There's no way you'll know this, but just take a wild guess because you're good with numbers. What do you think his overall record is?
How many years has he been there?
35. This is his 35th.
35th year. He's won an average of 30 a year, so 955 wins.
It's a little better than that. How many losses?
75.
It's a little worse than that. 1,076 and 140 when he first took the job. And they took a chance on him because they weren't any good.
Times were tough.
Yeah, the first few years he had a bunch of
kind of like
losses.
when Jim Calhoun took over there.
Exactly. So, all right.
Before Jim Calhoun, the only UConn college basketball glory but the biggest thing ever, the biggest newsiest thing they ever did, they had a big man, Chuck Alexinas, transfer from Kentucky to UConn. That was about it.
How did he? Well, he must have bombed at Kentucky.
He did.
Okay.
And they had a lot around him.
Well,
Mike Phillips, Rick Roby.
Look, Jim Calhoun did a lot. I mean, he made a program.
Did.
He made a program.
He sure did.
And the truth is, so did Gino. And, there was a lot of time where they coexisted. I don't think they loved each other either, but they coexisted. Here's my question for you. You were there last night. I watched the last quarter in front of my big screen TV at home. And
that's a little humble brag, wasn't it, Drew? Big screen over Dave's?
It was my old Dual Day TV big screen. I mean, 2 years ago, it was the greatest TV you could buy. I don't know if it is anymore.
So you get home at what point in the game?
I got home with about 10 minutes left to go in the game. So I watched basically them pull away. And
fourth quarter was something. And highlight reels. But the question is?
I mean, if that was the only, and it's the only part of the game. If I didn't know better, I would have thought, boy, that James Harden's a bum. He can't do anything. Couldn't guard.
At 40.
Couldn't guard. Yeah, but he had 2 or 3 free throws that I watched. That was it.
Workman-like
He didn't hit a bucket in the fourth quarter.
It was a ragged 40. It was a working 40.
Well, do you remember a couple of years ago, and ESPN showed it over and over and over again, how he basically made a guy fall down when he was making a move on a step back? Well, that is exactly what Ja Morant did to him last night.
Last night, there were highlight reels. It felt like every trip up and down the court.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
And it's Ja as the conductor, as the maestro. And there's no doubt about it. It's Ja's team. There's no doubt about that. I'm fine by it. He's the biggest thing in town, but it's a collective group effort. You're getting a little something from Grayson Allen.
This is why I'm going in this direction. Great minds think alike. So here's my kind of hard one question for you. What's the best move this management, or we could say, I'll even add one. I'll throw Zach Kleiman in that Robert Pera made that move. Is that move to get Zach Kleiman the best move? Is the move to hire Taylor Jenkins the best move? Is the best move, you got handed it, but you did still have to make the pick, Ja Morant? Is the next best move getting Brandon Clark at 21, trading up to do it? Was the best move re-signing Jonas Valanciunas? Was the best move holding on to Dylan Brooks? Where some people thought, remember, they got a little confused on that almost trade, and they kind of wanted Dylan Brooks, but Memphis held their ground.
Marshawn.
They held their ground on Dylan because that is who they really wanted to keep, and that was a smart move. What is the best move of all those moves?
Now, this was pure luck. The most historic move in the history of the Memphis Grizzlies was last May on lottery night. Getting fortunate that night.
Getting the second pick.
When we left here that day, we were justifying, well, I'll be okay if we get Jarrett Culver. I'll be okay if we maneuver around and get this one or that one. And it just kept falling their way and falling their way.
No, nobody thought they were going to get number 2.
So that was pure luck. And we could have been running the team and been fortunate enough to be blessed with that good luck. So I'm not going to give them that now. And everybody knew if you're 2, who you're drafting. They didn't blow it, at least.
No.
I think of all the real moves made, because if you had the draft today, where does Brandon Clark go today? You redo the draft right now. Where's top 10 for sure?
Well, if you redo the draft right now and you're the New Orleans Pelicans, are you taking Zion or are you going to take Ja?
Well, knowing what happened, I don't know that you would. I don't think you take Zion.
Even if let's just say Zion is healthy, okay? I mean, what you've just seen with this guy, the way he's playing now, I mean, he's playing like he can be Steph Curry. He's playing like he is definitely going to be.
He's playing like he can be the best ever.
Certainly in Memphis. I don't know if he's the best ever, but he's playing like
he's playing like it.
He's playing like he is definitely going to be a superstar.
But now, if Zion Williamson goes on to the Hall of Fame.
You know. Well, then it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But you don't know that. And you do know now what you got with Ja. And I really think, too, that Ja can probably affect the game more because of the position that he plays than even Zion.
Maybe so.
Unless they make Zion a LeBron-like player where he's handling the ball all the time, too.
It is appointment watching to watch him, to go to games. The Grizzlies have the whole entire package in him. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity January sales event. Great offers on all 2020 models, always on special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in one of those beautiful cars as well. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500 and start 2020 looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, very high standards in the car business. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that's the Grizz. I mean,
No
6 in a row, 13 of their last 19. You realize
Making news nationally. Ripples everywhere.
they have gotten into
Hot takes
some
everywhere.
power rankings as high as 14th in the entire NBA. Wow, what a long way they've come. You know, if
you know
watch,
you've arrived when Mike Greenberg kind of assails Memphis this morning on Hot Take TV.
If you watched last night, you'd go, James Harden who? All he could do was shoot free throws, couldn't get shots off, didn't make a point. You realize he's the number one fourth quarter scorer in the NBA, and he got outscored, 11-1 last night by John Morant, who went nuts in the fourth quarter.
Had a meaningless 40.
Bottom line is, I think the Grizzlies are a for real playoff team. And they do this 2 years minimum ahead of schedule. It's truly becoming one of the better stories in the NBA.
My top story, a star is born, a big star, a ticket seller, a jersey seller, the new king of town, the face of the franchise, and I hope for a long, long time, that's Ja Morant, and a young dynamic duo in Ja and Jaren. Jaren last night, the defensive plays, the blocks at the cup, as Clark Kellogg likes to say, the force he was. He got off to a slow start this year. It was a little lumbering from last year into this year for him. He's catching on now. This is the big story around town, and a big welcome surprise when we thought this was the year that the Tigers were going to block out the sun and block out everything.
Yep.
The Tigers are doing fine. This is not pitting anybody against anybody. It's a welcome surprise that in Hoop City, both teams, just kind of one night to the next, can take that stage and have a lot of fun with it.
It is the first time. This is the true test to see if financially, economically, as a city, we can really, truly support two winning programs. Because the trajectory of both the Grizzly professional franchise and the college program are on big upward arcs.
The pricing structure a little different for one than for the other, and just the
Not
amount,
really.
and the amount of games. If for no other reason, you got to go to 40 instead of 20,
That's if you get a season ticket. But if we're taking them,
or if you just go anytime.
if you're taking them on a lower level seat basis, because of the amount of donation that you have to give for the right to buy the ticket.
Right. Just
And
opening
I've done
bid.
the math on this with season ticket holders of both. They're very equivalent.
They are for the seat service premier seats.
And if you've got both, and there are a lot that do, it is a heck of a commitment. You're talking about literally 65 dates, not counting playoffs. 65 dates that you have to commit to
the time and trouble.
to go downtown.
Never mind
the
dough.
It is a heck of a commitment, but it is really and truly the first time both teams are good at the same moment.
I've been to 4 Grizzlies games this year and to 4 Tigers games this year, and the crowds aren't even close at the two. The Tigers crowds are much larger and more robust. Now, we'll see with this Grizzly mania.
If the Grizzlies keep this up, and if the Grizzly management tries to make the playoffs, I've been saying this now for 2 weeks, if they don't trade away pieces, if they really want to make the playoffs, I don't care if they're an 8 seed and they get blown away by the Lakers.
Oh, no, it'll be good for business next year.
They will absolutely get crowds down the stretch.
Not top story of the day.
I don't understand this one. You would think, there's an old saying. First time, shame on you, Brett Norsworthy. Second time, shame on me for not knowing better. Shame on Missouri State. How many chances does a guy who's proven to be not a very good human character, how many chances do you give Bobby Petrino? Is your football program
we believe in
that
second chances, though,
desperate?
don't we?
Yeah, he got a second chance.
He sure did.
He got a second chance at Western Kentucky. What did he do to them?
Parlayed it into
Blew
Louisville.
him off.
Yeah, but I'm not going to knock him for parlaying into Louisville. I'm going to knock him for quitting on Louisville and doing that job down the stretch there. So he had his second chance and blew it.
Don't forget, this guy does this all the time. He had an NFL job that he had a bad start with, and he blew that team off to go to Arkansas.
Well, that's kind of that world, though. I mean, the coaching world is very fractious and always trying to leverage. But we go back to, and it wasn't a motorcycle wreck.
No.
Memo to people. It wasn't a motorcycle wreck.
It's pretty well documented. It was an affair with
I don't know how
a woman who had a boyfriend who got upset.
I don't know
and
how.
that boyfriend was tough because he was a strength coach.
I don't know. Only Arkansas could pull this off. That FOI, Freedom of Information documents, open public records, they still were able to keep them sealed. We still haven't seen all the text chain and all the
It really
the
doesn't
dirty
matter to
details.
me now.
I don't
This
care either.
guy has had a million chances, and every time people get thrown into the abyss by him. And here he comes with another chance.
He'll use them up at Missouri State. Already some insinuating this. He gets to Missouri State right there at
Springfield.
in Springfield, in the area, wins, goes through the car wash, cleans himself up a little bit.
Boy,
that's
a heavy-duty car wash.
At the same time, Sam Pittman's really not working out. 2 or 3 years from now, Arkansas brings Bobby P back.
You know what? If they did that, they'd get what they deserve.
My not top story, Joey Cora joins A.J. Hinch in the fired line. It is not moving away from someone. It is not moving on from someone. Can we not say somebody's fired anymore? Have you noticed how many headlines the Boston Red Sox are moving away from? No, they fired Joey Cora. That's what you call it. And it's especially what you call it when 2 of the last 3 winning World Series managers have been fired over the last 2 days. I think it's a little much for baseball to be in this scandal, and it's a scandal. And baseball does a scandal, doesn't it? It sticks like glue to baseball. Meanwhile, the NFL, they're practically doing shots of steroids. And I'm not talking about injections. I'm talking about drinking steroids. And you let baseball have PED and stuff, it sticks to baseball. This scandal's sticking to baseball. Here's the deal when you go to bat in a Major League Baseball game. Really about any baseball game above about 12 years old. If you're batting, you're going to see one of 2 pitches. You're either going to see a fastball or a breaking pitch. You still have to hit it, even if you know what's coming.
It's been pointed out along those lines that the Astros actually had a better road record in 18 than they did a home record, which is where they were cheating.
And just like it wasn't a motorcycle wreck, everybody's doing it. Around a home baseball park.
So you think Houston got the bad end of the deal here, and Joey Cora in Boston did? You know what?
Yeah,
Ever
I
since
guess.
I was a kid playing Little League Baseball, we tried to figure out the signs of
Sure.
other people, but we didn't use technology. And it's not a fair procedure.
Would you if you could have?
No. I have a sense of fair play.
I wonder why in baseball you don't have an assistant coaching booth upstairs like football coaches have to watch. They do. They just
That's
don't
the
tell
GM.
you. They do.
That's where the GM sits.
All over a home, if you're the home team, all over Busch Stadium for a Cardinal game, man, there are people wired for sound with every device they can think of to relay stuff. Everybody's doing it. But they're going to pay the big price, and baseball has a big scandal. And
Well, so if everybody's doing it, don't you think now everybody's going to stop? Because they've just seen 3 guys,
Do we ever stop?
big, really good at what they do, get banished from the game, get fired, lose their income. I would think you would stop.
And what I love about this scandal, people that you could not make them talk baseball in the middle of a pennant race. You can hardly make them talk it in the middle of October during the World Series, all doing segments and shows on killing baseball, on what cheaters baseball are. It's the baseball hating crowds coming out to play because they get their shot to take a swing at them.
We'll let you know this portion of the show brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Group. That's Matt Eflin. That's a guy who just got together with another fella named Britt Linder. They're actually growing. He already had an empire with offices all over the city, including in Batesville, Arkansas. He knows his stuff. And now it's gotten even bigger. You got to go check out Eflin Insurance. You really do. He's located mainly in Bartlett, and it's not just health insurance or life insurance, anything for your family or anything for your business. He does personal and business insurance. There's not many that do that combination. Matt does. He's been doing it for 20 years. He sits you down. Either way, if it's your family, he wants to know all about your family. How many kids? Who have we got to take care of? What's most important? And you know what? You get secure. Business, let's forecast 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road. What's the most important thing you must protect in your business? He finds the product, you're protected. It's a great feeling. Matt Eflin. Go to EflinInsurance.com. You'll see exactly what I am talking about. We are just underway. We got a busy show for you. Coming up in a minute, we go to Tampa. TJ Reeves is standing by. College hoops on the docket with the best national basketball writer in America, Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News at 4. We talked to our professor from Harvard, Rick Horo. He will join us at 4:30 on business. Jason Munz at 5 o'clock. And we got some special things coming your way at 5:30. John Morant reminds me of Pete Maravich. That's a great text on the First Bank text line. He makes moves. He has vision. I don't know how he sees half the things he sees. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
To yours, Wolf Chase Lim and Brace.
Vicks VapoCool Drops. Oh, great. A sore throat keeping me from my extremely lucrative voiceover job talking about throat drops. Thanks, universe. Might as well try these Vicks VapoCool Drops. Wow, these VapoCool Drops are amazing. That's not candy dressed up like a throat drop. That's a super cooling Vapo Power Rush. It's like... Yes! I don't know where that's coming from, but yes! Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool Drops. Use as directed.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Somebody must have kicked you around.
I think Morant last night, I think he kicked James Harden around a little bit.
Boy, just listen to what we're saying, and I haven't disagreed with anything. We had a texter compare him to Pistol Pete, and I do not disagree. Oh, my gosh. And you're talking about him kicking around a guy that last year had 55 here in a game, and last night had 41. 41 is one of the preeminent stars of the sport, and I haven't said you're nuts and disagreed because I agree, and I don't think – well, I think you're nuts, but I don't think you are about this.
Last night, he didn't score a bucket in the fourth quarter. He had one free throw, maybe three.
Boy, and he took a big shot, too.
He took 37 shots last night.
I mean, he took a hit where you don't want to get hit.
Do you know that Ja Morant shot 90% from the field last night? He ripped him apart.
They dared him to shoot, and he just kept stroking. It was remember you were there moment. I'm telling you, it was something to see.
Well, I got news for you. There's going to be plenty.
There's going to be a lot more.
Going to be plenty more of those. Let's just see if the legend of Ja is going everywhere.
We
go to Tampa. Our friend TJ Reeves,
Hockey Town,
standing by. Yeah, they don't even know about hoops in Tampa. They know all about hockey though.
And it's baseball town.
Hey, that team's won 10 games in a row. That hockey team. Have you heard about Ja Morant, TJ Reeves?
That would be 11 straight wins for the Lightning. And yes,
11.
I saw the Ja Morant highlights.
Good.
Fantastic. It's got a Woloshin-esque 37 shots in a game. I mean, you never met a shot you were going to pass up
well, that was,
when
that
you were
was,
out there.
That was hard.
Listen, we got so many avenues to travel. It was great to see you again this weekend, and I did bring, I think, the Tigers a little bit of luck because we socialized a little bit Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then even though Memphis struggled in the first half of the game, found a way to come back and win this time, unlike a year ago where it was 18-0, 20-0, 21-0, whatever that was.
It was 19-0 and 27-1. 27-1. Man.
February.
You talk about games
2019.
As regular season games go, that game last year, you and I will probably talk about, and Tiger fans probably will choose to forget it, but you and I we'll talk about that one, and anybody that loves statistical oddities, and Brett loves these too. I mean, yes, the Tigers fell behind 19-0 and eventually closed to within a few points, but that's the game where Jeremiah Martin scored 0 points in the first half and 41 in the second half, which has got to be some kind of a record. They have none, and then get 41.
And Jeremiah Martin, we knew it during last year, and the story from only scoring 73 points as a freshman to leaving on the all-time scoring
41
list
and a half
in the top 10, all that. He covered up a lot of things, and what people have to bear in mind, it's a very young sport across the sport, but this is a particularly very young, if not the youngest team in all of college basketball.
According to Ken Palm, it is the youngest team.
And Dave has really practiced patience, and it is not any homerism from Dave. Today's January 15th. They play the Bearcats tomorrow night on the 16th. This team can be very different on March 16th than they will appear even tomorrow night on January 16th. And we don't have a lot of patience.
And that's the idea. You want them to grow up some. You want them to be better. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that with the Tigers. We got so many avenues that we can travel. Promise me that we can get to the comparisons of the LSU team, which deserves every bit of praise and credit for how great they were this season.
There.
But we got to talk about the Miami Hurricane team of 2001
I mentioned them yesterday.
As a legitimate comparison.
Yeah, that was my team.
That somebody texted.
Do you have the list?
The 94 Nebraska
team? You have the
team?
list of Hurricane players from that team
that
were drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. So
I had the best line.
That roster, that roster, the night that they won the Rose Bowl in Pasadena over Nebraska, which again, if we're comparing the two teams, LSU won 15 games. They had to win a conference championship game in the toughest conference in America to beat Georgia. They then had to win a semifinal game against a 12-1 team that won the Big 12 and then win the championship game. So LSU just definitely in a different category from Miami winning 11 games without a championship game and a 12th game in the Rose Bowl. But here is the list of names. I'm just going to rattle these off that were all taken in the first round of the NFL draft that played for Miami on that 2001 team.
And don't forget what a great college quarterback Ken Dorsey was.
Mm-hmm. Ken Dorsey was not picked in the first round. All of these guys were picked in the first round of the draft. Andre Johnson, Sean Taylor, Kellen Winslow, Bryant McKinney, Antrell Roll, Jonathan Vilma, Jeremy Shockey, Jerome McDougal, Philip Buchanan, DJ Williams, Vernon Carey, Vince Wilfork, Willis McGahee, Ed Reed, William Joseph, Mike Rump, Kelly Jennings, all picked in the first round. 18 of them off of that Miami team. Of their 22 starters that night in the Rose Bowl 2001, 19 drafted.
So
19 of them drafted in the NFL. Crazy.
You're telling me on that team there's only 32 first-round picks in the NFL, more than half.
It was not in the same season. It was not in the same season, but they had 18 first-round picks that were on that team that was on the field that night. Not just 18 draft picks now.
And Nebraska
honestly,
had the
how many
Heisman Trophy winning
first-round
quarterback.
picks were on that LSU team, would you guys say, from Monday? A half dozen? Maybe 10? 6, 7, 8 LSU first-round picks in the future besides Burrow?
I would say 6 or 7. Burrow,
Stingley
is going to be.
A couple of receivers, a couple of linemen.
Yeah, two receivers. Delpit. Yeah, that's probably 8, not 18. Not 18.
It's crazy.
TJ,
wait, how many
crazy.
of those?
And again, 19 of the 22 starters in that game for those Hurricanes got drafted eventually in some kind of round in the NFL draft. So
how many
it's
made
just
a Hall
fun
of
to
Fame?
go back and compare, but that's maybe the closest comparison to what we just saw. They were devastating all year long against amazing competition.
How many Hall of Fame? Winslow is one, right?
No.
This is the son. This is K2. This is the son. Andre Johnson, the wide receiver, has a Hall of Fame case. Out of that group,
Sean Taylor,
Ed Reed is already in the Hall of Fame. They just put him in. I'm looking at the rest of that list. Probably not another NFL Hall of Famer, more or less. But that's a different argument. Going on to NFL overall success
Bryant
as opposed
McKinney really
to what did NFL experts
That's what they did in
and
college.
personnel guys think of that team. They obviously thought very highly of that team, and it'll be the same way with LSU. A lot of those guys that we saw on the field for LSU will get drafted somehow, some way, maybe not in the first round. And again, 7 wins against the top 15, and I think 5 wins against the top 10, and having to beat Alabama at Alabama and beat Georgia in a home-away from home SEC championship game, and then come back to the same stadium and beat Oklahoma and annihilate them, and then beat the defending national champs who were also undefeated. It's very easy in the present for us to say the best thing we've ever seen. But it's pretty tough to argue that's not the best when you had to win 15 games to do it.
TJ, I made the case yesterday, and I've made the case during this 150th year of college football. The best team I ever saw, and I didn't see him in person at all that year, it was just on TV, was 2001, the U. And I had this line at the time. Jeremy Shockey and Clinton Portis had to turn pro to get playing time.
Very true. And you make a great point with the depth that you have on those teams. And look, the USC teams, when you move forward with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, had a half dozen or more first-round picks on them, and they both won the Heisman Trophy, and they won the one championship before losing to Vince Young in Texas in the epic Rose Bowl, speaking of the Rose Bowl, when both were unbeaten. So that team you take a look at, and I have a good friend of mine today that was saying to me the 95 Nebraska team that destroyed Florida, he believes that defense, all things being equal, would have been able to compete 94. And slow down LSU.
94.
And so the 95 one that annihilated Florida and in the 96 Fiesta Bowl, the one he's talking about, with Lawrence Phillips, the blowout team.
Oh, okay. 95.
So
Yeah.
Could that one have competed with that LSU team the other night? Could that 0-1? I think 0-1
Sure they
Miami could have definitely competed with.
Sure they could.
So,
And Nebraska had good teams, as you mentioned. Now, that Nebraska 2001 team, I mentioned Ken Dorsey, and everybody would always say back then, anybody could be good in this system. Rip Shear was the quarterback coach for the Cleveland Browns and had Ken Dorsey in his meeting room, I think with Brady Quinn and maybe it was a pretty good quarterback room. Ken Dorsey was a great college quarterback, and they beat Eric Crouch, who won the Heisman Trophy that year for Nebraska. And that was not vintage Nebraska, but it was pretty good playing in the national championship game at the Rose Bowl. The heat of the moment, the soup of the day, the last best-looking girl you ever saw being the best look you ever saw in the life. I don't like that crowd, but this LSU team was special.
Yep, give them an awful lot of credit. And you mentioned the 150th year of college football. We'll just kind of bounce around to all of these things. Am I the only one, and I didn't go to Oklahoma State, and I'm not from Detroit, and I'm not a Detroit Lions fan, and that's his NFL career anyway, but am I the only one that looks at Barry Sanders breaking 30-plus NCAA records while winning the Heisman in 1989 and saying, how is he ninth? How is he behind Red Grange and Dick Butkus and Jim Thorpe and a couple of the other ones? I mean, I know you want to give them recognition, but none of them left college football with 30 records like Barry Sanders. It was amazing to me that he was ninth. And then somebody pointed out, because I didn't realize this, Tim Tebow was like 78. Tim Tebow's got to be a little higher than 78, doesn't he? With the 2 seasons he had, including a Heisman Trophy and all the wins,
I would say
2 championships.
I would say he would be higher than 78th. I would agree with you on that one as far as Barry Sanders go. And you get to the top 10 or 15.
Whatever.
Come on, wait.
If you second
how
or
are you going to? So you saying Gale Sayers shouldn't be in there because he went to Kansas and he didn't break any records, but he was clearly incredible as a running back.
I'm just saying the guy smashed all of those records. A lot of them are still standing 30 years later.
You know,
it was as incredible a season as we've seen.
I've heard some say Jim Brown.
He's got to be in the top 5.
I've heard some say Jim Brown shouldn't be the number 1 guy. I would put Jim Brown number 1.
I have no problem with it.
All right, are we going to get to the cheating scandal in
we
Major League
are.
Baseball? You want to
That's
cover that
exactly what we just signaled to each other. So, are you upset? Do you think some people think Houston got away with it? Because if you were to ask probably anybody in Houston, would you take the loss of your owner getting no manager for a year, no GM for a year, $5 million and 4 draft picks? Is that worth a World Series? And you would have to say yes.
Well, and I give Rob Manfred a lot of credit as the commissioner of baseball, and in some ways he was forced to deal with this once it became public, and it was so obvious with the technology that's out there today and the replays of games that are out there, and people went on the internet and were able to find this and mix it together. He almost had no choice that he was going to have to step in and act, and so I give him credit because he definitively. He was acting in the 2017 season. That's the big part of this. He sent an edict to all of the 30 major league teams to knock this off and to not do it, and the Astros defiantly and arrogantly continue to do it, not unlike the Saints with the Bountygate situation where they came in and interviewed Sean Payton and Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, and said to them, if this is what is going on, it has to stop right now. You're telling us it's not going on, but if it is, it's got to stop right now. They were lying then. They were lying afterwards. And the Astros apparently were lying all along and doing this and cheating. And so I applaud him for taking the action that he took. And I would have been fine with him vacating the World Series for both the Astros and the Red Sox.
Whoa.
Not to give it to the Dodgers, but to say the record book is not going to show that you won while cheating to win. You have your rings. I don't think we can go confiscate the rings. You can't take away the memories of the people that watched or attended the games. But if you wanted to vacate it, you've got real cause to vacate it because they were cheating all the way through the postseason.
I still had to get them out, though, didn't
you? I would have a hard time with that because how many other people were cheating? How many other teams have been doing this? Here's the question that I really have for you.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
Well, they got
proof on this.
These
and
guys
they won
got
the championship,
caught. Right.
And you got the proof.
That is true. They got caught.
They got proof on this.
My last question for you on this, and really for today. Do you think, with the harshness that you've just applauded the commissioner,
man, Kennesaw Mountain Landis Reeves,
do you think this stops it?
Oh, I think so for now, yes. Because the video, it's amazing, and I know you got to go. It's amazing that they put in that baseball personnel, especially for the postseason, would be in the video room, and you read that report, and the Astros just moved their video stuff to another place where they couldn't be found, defiantly, after the edict, to continue to cheat. And it is multi-layered, because it's not only the Red Sox and what will the penalty be for Joey Cora, because one of the things that we're wondering, is he going to get 2 years for suspension besides being fired? Is he going to get 5 years or a lifetime? I don't know that it's a lifetime ban. What's going to happen to Beltran? So we're still wondering
it's not over
about
yet.
all of this.
You're right about that.
It's as big a scandal as there has been in pro sports involving championships now. And I don't think we can overstate that, guys.
I agree. Thank you, my friend. As
Great
always,
stuff.
we appreciate it. You're tough.
Thank
I don't
you,
want to
TJ.
get you poor twins.
Hanging
Can
judge.
you imagine those?
Guys go by there to take
you were
come
with Mrs.
in
Reeves
late
the other night. Who do you think's got to be the bad cop? I rest my case on that. You boys be well,
Bye.
and we will catch up soon.
You got it. Bye-bye. DJ Reeves down in Tampa.
Don't pull up in the vans, all I tell you.
Let us take a break. We're back to close out hour number one. Here in just a minute, this is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th.
Vicks VapoCool Drops. Oh, great. A sore throat keeping me from my extremely lucrative voiceover job talking about throat drops. Thanks, universe. Might as well try these Vicks VapoCool Drops. Wow, these VapoCool Drops are amazing. That's not candy dressed up like a throat drop. That's a super cooling Vapo Power Rush. It's like... Yes! I don't know where that's coming from, but yes! Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool Drops. Use as directed.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
And the coach calls timeout.
Wait a minute, you can't call timeout when you have leaks and Mother Nature is roaring through your home.
A technical foul from outer space may be in order.
Don't know about that, but we can measure your roof from outer space at BrianElderRoofing.com.
So if you need repairs or wondering if you think you may have a claim,
call me before you call your insurance company. And we've got 0% interest for 60 months with approved credit. We won't try to sell you a new roof if all you need is a repair.
My friend Chris Price, a longtime donor of the U of M. Call him, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
God bless America, Penny and Mike, and go Tigers.
And now back to the game.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between, in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Experience true freedom in a Can-Am off-road vehicle. How? Through the Can-Am Holiday Sales Blitz that's happening now. From the valleys to the hills, from the dunes to the farm, they're ready. And they won't let anything get in their way, because this is where you ride best. Get to Olive Branch Motorsports for the Holiday Blitz sales event and get yourself a new Can-Am off-road vehicle at a great price. For a limited time, get up to $3,000 off on select 2019 models. Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road, or online at obmotorcycleatv.com.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Welcome back in. So far, we've talked Tigers and Bearcats tomorrow. By the way, Dan Horde will be with us at 3:30. Tomorrow. We are looking forward to chatting with him and talk a little bit about the Bengals. Another tough year for him.
And right now, with the Grizzlies getting a lot of attention, a big Tiger win tomorrow night, I don't think a reboot is even necessary. That was a great road win Sunday, down 14, claw back and win. But a win tomorrow night, everything's fine in Tigerland.
This story is coming out. We mentioned it yesterday, but I do find it humorous. And it should go nowhere, honestly. But the money that Cleveland Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, distributed on the field, that was real money. Joe Burrow said in a podcast today.
Well, of course it was.
He goes, I'm not a student athlete anymore, so I can say yeah.
And he can accept it.
He sure can.
And a freshman on the team could accept it. It just nullifies his eligibility going forward.
Well, if he actually took the money, he would be smart to say, I picked that up and gave it to a senior.
I mean, the LSU compliance office out there, and that doesn't bother me either. I think after Fat Cat Donor, after somebody's actually done something for you and produced a 15-0 masterpiece, a Heisman Trophy, every Coach of the Year award, and a national championship win, that's when you should step up. Not for some 17-year-old, he might be good. Oh, he's a 5-star from...
Well, Joe Burrow should never, ever have to
Jasper,
buy
Georgia.
Another drink in the state of Louisiana.
I don't think he has to.
I think he's good.
Car service or...
If you're the...
Golf bill?
New York Giants, if you're Joe Judge, you going to hire Jason Garrett as your offensive coordinator?
I wouldn't, because I'm afraid you're hiring, if it doesn't go well, your successor. I go out and start fresh.
I wouldn't. And possibly it's the ownership group's theory that you've got a guy that can, because he's never been a head coach, that can sort of
have a seasoned hand
steer
around
you the right way. Plus, which you get all the intel on an in-conference or in-division rival. But if you don't have a relationship with him, why would you take him? Wouldn't you want somebody that you feel
played for
comfortable
the Giants,
with?
but do you think of him as Giant?
No,
I don't either.
Not at all. And that's
played at Princeton.
That's an hour in the books. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. They're asking for your help, basically, and I like that about them. They're always cutting things down to make it good for you, and now they want your help. They got to make room. They got inventory coming in for summer. Yeah, we're already thinking about that. Save thousands on all floor model spas. We're talking floor model play gyms, up to 50% off. Patio furniture, 10, and again, all the way up to 50% off. Don't wait until May to purchase your swimming pool. By now, and you get spring installation scheduled. It's right there. You've got priority. You want that. Additional discounts on all swimming pools and grills and fire pits and outdoor kitchens. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Wooden Road. Help them out. They got to make room for new inventory, and you're going to get a price you love at Family Leisure. We are back in just a minute. When we come back, college basketball front and center with Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Now, this is the way to ring in the new year.
Sweetgrass is amazing food and all kinds of games to watch.
Since Sweetgrass changed the layout, now we can enjoy all the meaningful NFL games and enjoy our favorite menu in Midtown.
You're not the only one that used to sneak over to next door to check the scores.
It's true. I think you did it more than I did.
Well, I have a lot of favorite teams.
And I have a lot of favorite Sweetgrass foods.
Now we have the best of both worlds. Great Sweetgrass food and plenty of TVs to watch sports.
Everything we always loved now in one place. Sweetgrass, right here in the heart of Cooper Young.
Vicks VapoCool Drops. Oh, great. A sore throat keeping me from my extremely lucrative voiceover job talking about throat drops. Thanks, universe. Might as well try these Vicks VapoCool Drops. Wow, these VapoCool Drops are amazing. That's not candy dressed up like a throat drop. That's a super cooling Vapo Power Rush. It's like... Yes! I don't know where that's coming from, but yes! Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool Drops. Use as directed.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Is imitation the sincerest form of flattery? Not.
When it comes to your car audio.
Stereo One is the leader in car audio, remote start, security, and more for the past 30 years. Stereo One is proud to announce the grand opening of their new location, 1983 Covington Pike, across from the Honda dealership. To celebrate their new location, Stereo One has marked down their entire inventory. Remote start systems at $129.
With free installation.
Subwoofer base packages start at just $199. Window tint starting at $129. The entire inventory of radios and touchscreens with features like Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, and backup cameras are marked to go. Check out Stereo One before you buy online. Their knowledge, friendly sales staff, and pro installation team will take care of you. Visit the Stereo One new location today, 1983 Covington Pike, across from Honda, or visit their mega store at Mendenhall and Winchester. Make sure you go to the originators and not the imitators.
Stereo One is still the one for your auto accessories. We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in. 70 degrees outside. Boy, it's high humidity. I really
feels like May.
I thought I walked out in Tampa again today. Actually worked on my swimming pool today.
It's like in Scottsdale.
Because it's supposed to drop 30 degrees tonight. January is coming back. I promise you. Tigers in
With a
Cincinnati
vengeance next week.
You know, there was a time when we would talk about Memphis and Cincinnati, and I'd be thinking, man, my friend Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, he might be around because he lived all those years in Cincinnati, and he joined.
He's a Hoosier now.
He is. He joins us now.
The good kind of Hoosier.
Another upset last night. Duke falls by the wayside. I don't think anybody but Gonzaga has a chance to really run the table the rest of the way. Is that fair?
You know, I would say that I wouldn't be so 100% sure about that either, because although I think this is a very good Gonzaga team, it's not last year's team. I mean, last year's team was loaded with talent, and this is a very, very good team with some very, very good players. They don't have 2 top 20 picks on their team. They have some guys who probably they'll have a lot of guys who play for money, but I don't know whether any of them will be number 1 picks. Maybe one, but last year's team was really talented, and the difference is that the WCC is a lot better than people are realizing. I mean, right now I have 2 other West Coast Conference teams in my mock bracket for Fox, and I'm not unusual in that. I think if you look around at some of the other guys who do this, they do too. And even some of the off-Broadway or off-Broadway WCC teams like Santa Clara and Pacific are playing really well and have played really well. So I would be surprised if Gonzaga doesn't at least get pushed really hard. And, you know, you still have San Diego State undefeated. They're the ones that you look at and say they could do it, because this is not a great Mountain West. New Mexico's good. Utah State is good, but they already went into Utah State and won. And last night they didn't play well against one of the poorer teams in their league, Fresno, and it was close for a while. So you see where even they could have a problem. I remember when Wichita got their undefeated season done in 2014. I mean, they went to, I think, in Missouri State, if I remember right, and they went into like double overtime. It's never easy. It's always an adventure, even if you end up on the right side of that record.
As you look out at the American, we were just talking about this. I know you're doing bracketology now too. I think where did you have Memphis as a 6 seed? How would you view the American? Cincinnati's off to a disappointing 10-6 beginning. They've had a couple of tough stumbles, including in conference. I think they're having a hard time getting used to John Brannon, and I know for sure that could be said for Jaron Cumberland. He doesn't look like the same guy. But how good do you believe the American is this year?
Well, I'd say it's probably less than we thought it was at the start, because it starts at the top with the Tigers, and they're less than we thought they would be. Although still former. They now lack a top 3 pick. I mean, they may not lack a top 10 pick, but they still got one of those. But they maybe would have had 2. I'm not sure that this hasn't been great for Precious to have the full attention on him. I think it's maybe been good for him. I know it's required more from him physically to play in the middle, but it also has given him more opportunity to shine, I believe. But from there, you go and you look at places like Temple and Houston, and especially I'd start closer to the top with Houston, Cincinnati. Houston's done okay, or fine. They're still hanging around in the bracket region, but they're playing on the edges of it. You know, you go to Tulsa and lose, and you go from fighting to climb the bracket to barely hanging on. Temple has been a little disappointing, although I know it's their first year under Aaron McKee, but they suggested early on that might not be a problem, and since they've gotten into the league, they haven't sailed along. So it's good, but it's not what it was a year ago, and it's probably not what we thought it was going to be when the year began.
Mike, you mentioned about Gonzaga being good, but they're not like last year's team. There are a lot of teams out there that aren't like last year's teams.
Yeah, that's the season. That's what you're looking at. And that's why Duke can go on the road and lose to a Clemson team that I think went into the game at 9-6, something like that, and hadn't played very well. Maybe even 8-7. Maybe they're 9-7 now. that's kind of where we are. I mean, certainly Kansas didn't lose to a poor team. They lost to one of the best teams in the country in Baylor, but they don't lose many of those at home, and yet they did on Saturday. So we're seeing a lot of that. Michigan State was sailing along in the Big Ten, knew they'd have trouble at Mackey. Right now, Purdue has not lost a game at home, but to get absolutely stomped in the way that the Spartans were, another sign that there's just not much that you can predict about this season.
Another one of those is that for the first time in history, Clemson goes into Chapel Hill and finally beats North Carolina. I know you've written today about Cole Anthony and when he's coming back. When I watched the end of that game and I saw Roy Williams and then I heard Roy Williams' comments about how he should be fired and all this other stuff, it makes me wonder, do you think he will retire after this year is out?
I don't think so. I don't think he wants to go out like this. I don't know what next year bodes for him. I know they've got I think they have 3 pretty good players signed up already, so next year should be better. They still would have Baycott. I would be very surprised if he went pro. Armando Baycott, their freshman big, very good player, has played, very well. And I think they'd still have a pretty good front court. So where they lacked in their recruiting entering this year, they knew that Kenny Williams was finishing. They knew that Nasir Little was only there for a year. They knew that Cam Johnson was done. He'd already been in college for 17 years or whatever between Pitt and Carolina. So they knew that they were losing all those guys, and they didn't sign any wings. I mean, they didn't sign any wings at all who were ready to contribute at the high major level, at the elite level. And so they got a couple of grad transfers, and it worked okay, not great. And then when Cole went down, it worked really badly. And so he posted on someone's Instagram within the last 24 hours or so that he'll, quote, be back soon. And no one really knows what soon means. And so my question then was, can it be soon enough? Carolina's used to being in the tournament. I know a lot of people want him to be dead and gone and buried and all that for this year, but you never know. I mean, especially in a year like this. I mean, they were pretty good when Cole was playing. People forget they were 6-3 to start the year, and that was with 2 losses in a row. As he was maybe hobbled by the knee that required surgery. He was not the player in those 2 games he'd been in the previous 6 or 7. So maybe he lights a fire. I'm not going to put it past him. He's an excellent player. They're not a great team, but they're better with him.
You sure he's going to come back? He's not going to pull a Wiseman?
Well, that's what he said. I mean, I can't be sure. Until you see the player back, you can't be sure, but he says he's coming back. I mean, I remember last year when Zion Williamson got hurt, and then I think they were very cautious with bringing him back because they knew they could win without him. They were going to be a 1 seed and all that, and there was no sense in pushing it. They were very cautious about it, but everybody said, "Oh, he doesn't need to come back" and all that. That's all nonsense. I mean, as Zion a year ago would not have gained anything by not returning. I mean, there was nothing for him to gain by doing that. There was just something to lose, the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament and have a cool experience and maybe win a championship. James didn't gain anything by leaving college.
No,
nothing. And anybody who says he did, I saw guys on another network who said this was the right decision. That's garbage. It's not. There's nothing to be gained by leaving school now, because unless you're going to wrap them up in a plastic bubble and put them, in a darkly lit room for 6 months,
exactly,
there's no way that's a positive.
Well, let's just examine that for 1 second. The kid is in Miami, all right? He's got a workout guy who's really hired by an agent. He's not really involved in the business of developing basketball players. He's not around anybody that's another basketball player like him. How is he being developed? It's a terrible story, and the worst thing is, I think I've heard this. I haven't had total clarification, but I'm pretty sure it's right. James Wiseman actually enrolled in online classes at the University of Memphis for this semester because he wanted to be a student. And it's just to me, it's a terrible story for that young man because he's a victim.
Yeah, I never believed that this is what he wanted, and I don't think. And anybody who tells you he gained something by that is kidding themselves. You look at the injury risk. People said, well, he's saving himself from injury risk. Unless if he gives up training and sits around, maybe he is. But I don't think that's what he's doing, because it's not a very good idea if you want to go into an NBA camp or an NBA training facility and impress the scouts. And he's locked to be picked high, but he's no lock to be picked at the very top. If he goes into a camp out of shape, he's not going to get picked top at the very top. So he's got to stay in shape. And so if you're trying to stay in shape, you can get hurt.
Sure,
you know,
you can.
I always say this. Like, I know two guys whose injuries absolutely wrecked their careers, and basically either never played again or never came close to playing the careers they would have had. Jay Williams and Bobby Hurley, both at Duke.
Yep.
And those two guys were hurt in motor vehicle accidents. So he's more likely to have something like that happen to him just going to and from his training camp than he is on the floor. So I can't, you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, if this is what he wants, or this is what his people want, or whatever, you can do whatever you want to do. But don't try to tell me or anyone else that it's best for him, because that's nonsense.
And Mike, you couldn't have been more clear. We're not talking about what is his rights. His rights, if he wanted to, he could have left school on that Friday afternoon before the first injunction was filed and gone and scaled the Matterhorn if he had wanted to. I mean, we're not talking about right, but we're talking about development of basketball. He would have developed better with basketball as a Memphis Tiger than he is with some clean and jerk jump rope guy in South Florida.
It's absolutely true. I mean, because you get better at basketball by playing, and do you get better in the gym as well? Absolutely, but not playing, having played only 3 college games and only one of them against serious competition, is a missed opportunity. He had an opportunity to get a lot better. I mean, I've heard people, people have tried to tell me he's a generational talent. And look, he's really athletically gifted. He is a very capable player. He's a very promising player. But you guys saw him. He's not the finished product. He would have made a lot of progress during the course of this year. You look at Anthony Davis, day one at Kentucky. And I remember writing about this at the Final Four when he played against Louisville. He scored 1 basket from the right side of the rim on a right-handed jump hook. And then later on in the game, he scored a basket on the left side of the rim with a left-handed jump hook. And he absolutely could not do either of those things when the season began. And I talked to Kenny Payne about it. And I talked to Anthony about it. And Anthony talked about how Kenny worked with him every day to work on these shots. Those are things that he developed through the course of that year. Then he applied them under high-pressure situation in the Final Four. He leaves there with a national championship. He leaves there as the number 1 pick. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Closer to home, look at Derrick Rose from when he first arrived
day one
here
to the last day.
to the end.
Absolutely.
That is a world of difference.
The very next year, Tyreek
Evans, the same thing. He got so much better as the year went on. No doubt about that. Here's what I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. 2022, when the one and done is done, how will it affect college basketball as we know? We could take the top 100. How many of those top 100 are you going to lose? 20? 25?
I don't know how many guys will go. Back when it was in force, there was no age limit, or the age limit was 18. There was no 19 age limit. At that point, it was usually somewhere between 4 and 12 players a year, depending on the class, this and that. It'll probably be more now. But here's what, I'll give you a good example of what, in addition to all the basketball skill things they're going to lose. And look, I know LeBron made it without that. And if you can promise me 20 more LeBrons, then fine. But LeBron's the greatest basketball prospect and player in the history of the game. I'm not basing everything on him. So if you look at, I wrote a column on Saturday about Lamar Jackson. Okay, I wrote a column about him, not so much about him, but how the Ravens used him as a option, basically as an option first quarterback. And I wrote that I don't think that that's the way they're going to win a Super Bowl. and that there was some evidence provided in that performance, and sort of confirming some earlier beliefs. And I got reamed. And you know who I got reamed by? I didn't hear from a single Baltimore Ravens fan. You know who I got reamed by? I got reamed by Louisville fans because I was messing with their guy.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And in 5 years, the NBA is going to be full of players that don't have any fans behind them other than the ones in their town. And if they become superstars, they'll pick up some people along the way. But right now, if I wrote a bad column about Anthony Davis, and there's no reason why I would, but if something came up and I did, I'm going to get reamed by Kentucky fans because he's their guy, even though he was only there a year. And that's what the NFL understands that the NBA just can't get.
That John Calipari wouldn't talk to you either if you wrote anything bad about Anthony Davis.
He'll talk to Mike.
Yeah.
It is crazy. I have no idea what the whole offshoot of the end of the one and done will be because I think it'll be higher than 20, and I'll tell you why.
I think we'll be just fine.
I think there are going to be the New Zealands of the world overseas when a guy like Tarek Black is making $5 or $8 million a year to play for Tel Aviv Maccabi. I mean, that's a lot of money. And an apartment, and a car, and no taxes. I mean, that's pretty impressive stuff right there.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. That you're not considering. Tarek went over there when he was like 27 or 28.
That's true.
Okay, he's ready to go over there and win games for people. They are not taking guys out of high school because those guys can't go over there and win games. The ones that are good enough, like if there was another LeBron, there won't be, but if there was another LeBron, that he could go over to Greece or Spain or wherever, and he's going to win games because he's phenomenal. But we don't get many of those. And the ones like that who are good enough, they can go into the NBA and either be LeBron, if indeed there was one, or they can be KG or Kobe, and they're going to be just good enough to not hurt you on the end of your bench for a couple of years, and then they're going to turn to KG and Kobe. But then there's the other guys that are just guys. They're special talents at high school, but they need to develop. And then if they play for a little while before they get to the NBA, they're going to become really good players. And there are scores of examples. Let's use Gordon Hayward as an example.
Sure.
I mean, like nobody in France is signing Gordon Hayward out of Brownsburg High School in Indiana. It's not going to happen. So where does that leave? Where does that leave that guy? I mean, he's not going to be able to sign over there. And, I mean, I could use a better example, the guys who are rated higher, but it's still, I mean, Jaron Cumberland. Jaron Cumberland wasn't ready for the NBA after 3 years at Cincinnati. So, and he was ranked in the 40s or 50s or 60s or whatever. I just don't see, DJ for Memphis right now. I mean, he was ranked top 50. He wasn't ready to go over to Israel or Spain or wherever and win any games. He needs to develop. He's going to be a really good player. He's going to make money playing the game, no question. And he's got a great attitude.
And then if you don't go there or you don't make it in the NBA, of which, like you said, maybe 3 or 4 possibly, and that's a high number, really could make it, then you're sitting and looking and going to the G League.
Right.
And the G League, as has been pointed out by our friend Andy Schiffman in Chicago, the agent, he said, if you go to the G League, now you're basically a 17 or 18 or 19-year-old kid, somewhere in that range. You're competing with 25 and 26-year-old guys who have really nothing in common with you. You're playing in empty gyms, and you're riding on either buses or you're getting up early to take a commercial flight to get to a city you have nothing to do with.
You're not even pretending to play defense.
There's that too.
I mean, that is not a great existence. And really, is that going to end up being the conduit for these guys to get to the league?
I've had people try to tell me that they get better coaching in the G League than they do in college. And I'm just like, I'm left breathless at those. I mean, like Izzo and Cal and Kay and Roy, and you're comparing. Look at the guys who are G League coaches, and they're not bad coaches.
And Dana Altman and Leonard Hamilton and Kelvin Sampson, and their assistants.
But Donnie Tyndall was a good college basketball coach, but he wasn't those guys. Stan Heath surely wasn't those guys. I mean, it's not, it's not comparable to what you get at the best college programs. Now, they can coach you longer, but that's, it's even then, like, those guys aren't sitting there for 14 hours coaching guys. They have practice plans, and they have this and they have that, and then they coach them in the gym, and sometimes they coach them after practice. It's not like they're standing there for 12 hours a day, feeding you jump shots. I mean, it's this idea that somehow, because it's associated with the NBA, it's better. And I'm not saying it's a bad league or that it's bad for players or anything like that, but there's no way you're going to sell me on the idea that it's better than going to play in real games that have real consequence that people care about, and learning what the consequences of losing are versus the rewards of winning. That's something a lot of guys now come into college without really knowing, because they play in AAU tournaments, and losing isn't always punished that hard. And so they need to learn that, and college provides that.
Not only that, but an education and the ability to hang out with people your age, and you get to actually be a kid. Because that goes away when you become a pro.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. No question about that.
What are some of the things you're working on this week in regards to the world of college basketball?
Well, we have our midseason All-America team coming out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so it'll be 9 a.m. your time. And
do we know anybody from around here make like second or third team?
I will just say that there are 15 players on the team. So there are 3 teams, and you can do the math on whether you think that anybody you know is good enough.
15.
I think we do.
I think there's one guy that could make it. We'll be definitely tuned in for that. Mike, we appreciate it as always.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Mike.
That is Mike DeCourcy. He is brought to you by the Memphis Tourism and the Sports Council. Millions visit Memphis every year. They're drawn here by our world-famous music and food. But did you know Memphis is also a global destination for sporting events, whether it's the FedEx St. Jude World Golf Championships, the Southern Heritage Classic, the new St. Jude Ironman Triathlon, or all the crazy amateur and youth sports that come hundreds of thousands. They're drawn here each year to our city because of sports. Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports Council, well, that's a winning combination, working year-round to bring visitors and sporting events to our community that help fan the flames of economic development in Memphis and in Shelby County, and they are what bring you. The Memphis Tourism and Sports Council are what bring you Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News every week. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we switch gears again. We talk business with a professor. We love the business of sports. We're into that in just a minute with Rick Haro on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Hi, folks. Good news from the Sunrise Sheriff. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch is 12 years old, so fire up the old jalopy and get on down here, because there's a saving shindig going on at sunrisememphis.com. Acres of new Chevys, huge discounts, 0% financing, and savings up to $13,000. Bad credit, it's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. Need body work? Bring it to Sunrise. The Sunrise Sheriff has put an end to high prices, and the word's out. Chevys cost less at Sunrise. 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Find new roads.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products, all found at your CBD store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brad Norsworthy.
Strapped against my back.
I'll tell you what, we got so many cool different things to talk about with Rick Horrow. It's going to be a really fun conversation, I can promise you that. I'll let you know our title sponsor this hour of the program would be Genesis of Olive Branch. That's the best dealership that I know of, and I mean, they are all about service and taking care of you and being transparent and making sure you take a test drive for as long as you want to. They are always spot on with that, and this is the place where you can get, I think, the best luxury car that there is. It's called Genesis. I got the G90. There's the G70. That's a little smaller, a little more sporty. They're both rocket ships, really. They both handle unbelievably well. That 90's a little bit bigger. If you've got kids, you can actually get one of those. And on the headrests that are on the driver's seats and the front passengers, they've got screens bigger than a laptop computer screen. I mean, it's like almost like a big screen TV. It's amazing. And then there's seat warmers and there's seat air conditioning and there's a steering wheel warmer. There's every bit of technology and safety feature that you could possibly find. These cars are amazing. 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new Genesis that you get. All you got to do is get there. Let's get on Lamar, get into Mississippi. The very first exit's Craft Road. It'll be Highway 78 there. Oh, you turn left, and you will have found Genesis of Olive Branch. You will have found Nirvana.
Trying to catch up with Rick Horrow. More Hall of Fame announcements today for the Centennial class.
Yeah.
Including former Commissioner Paul Tagliabue and also Steve Sable from the NFL Network. His dad, Ed Sable, already in the Hall of Fame.
And didn't Steve just pass away
a few years ago?
So this is posthumously. You know, he was good buddies with Steve Earhart.
I do.
They went to school together at Colorado College.
And Cliff Harris from Ouachita Baptist in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. He's going in. Donnie Shell from South Carolina State finally going in. He should. I thought this class was going to be the let's get it right for people that already should be in, but it's been snubbed. Alex Karras going in.
Alex Karras should have been in.
Alex Karras should have been in.
Alex Karras should have gone in because not only was he a great player, and he really was, he was the heart and soul of a Detroit Lion team that never really got over the hump, but they weren't bad. And he was a character, and he was a really good player. I don't know how many times he was all-pro, but I remember always thinking of him as one of the best defensive players of that era. And then he became, he became a movie star by Blazing Saddles, knocking out a horse. But then he got into sitcoms. But he was also an analyst. Yeah, I mean he helped really spread the branding around. I mean, he helped make the league as big as it has gotten, and I never thought he got his due. So I'm really glad that he gets in. That's another posthumously entered Hall of Famer.
Donnie Shell becomes the 5th member of the vaunted Steel Curtain to go in. Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, and Mel Blount. Should now see Greenwood be in?
Probably. Franco Harris? Oh, you're talking just of the steel curtain. Okay. Yeah, he
Franco
should.
Harris is in.
Yeah.
But for the Cowboys, Cliff Harris becomes the 5th member of the Doomsday defense, and the defensive coordinator for that was Ernie Stautner. The defensive back coach for a lot of those great Cowboys defenses was Gene Stallings, Cliff Harris, Bob Lilly, Randy White, Mel Renfro, and Herb Adderley. Shouldn't Charlie Waters be in?
Probably.
And do you think Herb Adderley is Cowboy or Packer?
I think of him as a Packer.
I do too. But really good with the Cowboys. But they're getting I like what they did for the 100th year, and they will have the announcement of the regular class Super Bowl weekend, and we hope Isaac Bruce is among that.
He definitely needs to be. I don't understand why he's not in. But he's the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver in the history of the game. I just mentioned this yesterday, I guess it was, or whenever we had our last discussion. If he didn't play in St. Louis, he would have been in the league.
But that was prolific offenses.
If he played in New York, he'd be in.
Sure, and those showcase offenses in St. Louis with Kurt Warner, who's in, with Marshall Faulk, who's in, with Orlando Pace, an offensive lineman, who's in. Torrey Holt will be in.
Mm-hmm.
I think Isaac Bruce should go in before Torrey Holt.
I agree.
If they do it in that order. Give me everything you know on former Cleveland Brown wide receiver Max Speedy, who's going in. Max Speedy. Spelled Speedy, S-P-E-D-I-E.
Well, his name tells you he was very fast.
He had to be, didn't he?
Yeah.
That wasn't even a nickname. That was the real last name.
I know.
He could have been Speedy.
There was somebody else in that class. You're looking at it right now. I'm not. That I also thought was worthy, and Alex Karras was the first one. And I was kind of surprised he
Jimbo
hadn't made it
Cofer
in.
with Bears.
With the Bears.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which you didn't think of the Bears offensively in that stretch as much as you did the Monsters of the Midway on the other side.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask about today was the story of what's going on with the fires in Australia and how it might affect the Australian Open.
So I'm calling for canceling.
And maybe they should. Did you see?
And for sure, move indoors.
In the qualifying round, there was a young lady who was trying to get in, and she collapsed on the court in a coughing fit. I don't see how you can make these athletes continue to play. Now, they can be brought inside, so it may take longer to finish, but you cannot have these guys outside without unfiltered air, breathing as hard as they do, as hard as they work, as much cardio as they're going, as much as they're opening up their lungs. How in the world can you play this in those kinds of conditions?
It's the least of the 4 slams that I keep up with, mostly because of the time of the year and the time difference. A lot of times when I'm watching those matches, I don't know if it's live or Memorex. I mean, and it's hard to keep up with. And right now, I don't know that I ever entirely get my tennis hat on, but I don't have anything resembling my tennis hat on when the Australian Open rolls around. But I don't know how difficult or not that it would be. I know it couldn't be easy to on the fly reschedule it at indoor venues if they have enough
They have one central court that they could play indoor. I don't know what you would do. I don't know if there's even a second, but you're right. They could probably spread it out around the country and find enough inside venues
but
for
a shame.
1 year.
A real shame.
Well, and that's nothing compared to the billion animals who have perished.
Oh, it's awful
because of these fires. It is truly terrible. So let's start, Rick Oro, our professor from Harvard, and of course from the NBC family of stations, joins us now. And since we sort of started on this a little bit, we'll get back to the college football playoff championship and the Super Bowl and all that other stuff with you. But Rick, tell me about what they're going to do in Australia, because this is a real problem.
Yeah, I know. First of all, I drove your producer nuts because I just landed, so I apologize.
That's fine.
I owe you 3 minutes of life that you'll never get back. So
no worries, Rick.
I have 3 minutes less of me. That's probably a good thing. Listen, a million animals dying. I mean,
a billion.
I can't even billion. I mean, I can't even. I don't even want to think about it. And so, it's bringing out some of the good in people. Nick Kyrgios, who's known as a bad boy, is leading this Tennis Australia common interest surge for cash, and then your typical do-gooders, the great guys, Federer, Nadal, all of those guys are saying, yeah, let's do what we need to do, and Serena Williams. So they're raising a lot of money. Tennis, Australia, yes. The soccer guys, Australian rules football. Sports people are raising as much as they can, but this is a cataclysm like nobody's known. So you got a big island, and it's burning from the inside, and then when it reaches the coast, where do you go? So I'm just, this whole global warming thing, that's not our discussion today. But when you think of 1 billion animals, I don't even want to think about it, right?
Yeah, it's awful. It really is. All right. 85 to 90% of the money the final week of the college football betting time in Vegas was going on LSU. LSU won the football game.
The Mississippi books.
They covered.
It was all LSU.
Mississippi the same way. How hard did the gaming industry get hit by LSU's pretty dominating win over Clemson?
They'll lose a lot of money. I haven't seen the numbers yet. We always know that the casino numbers are a bit inflated or changed. So, but they took a hit, and it was made that way because everybody who's anybody in Louisiana is an LSU fan and is pretty avid, and they go to their casinos and they bet the house. So, gambling is still probably in its infancy in some places, but with 18 states, there are going to be another 10. By 3-4 years from now, we're only going to have a small number of states not participating in gambling. And then at the end of the day, these casinos are going to take even more of a hit on stacked bets. And this one was stacked. Couldn't do anything about it. In retrospect, 6 was not enough. But, who knew at the time, especially who knew at halftime. And so, you have a potential dynasty without Joe Burrow, so maybe it's not a dynasty. And so we'll see what happens next year.
Rick, you referenced the sometimes skewed numbers from the gambling industry vis-a-vis Vegas and the satellite places. Do they not like advertising when they have the rare hit, when the public gets them? Because we know more times than not, and it's the reason why somebody's sitting at one of the particular parlors right now going, I've never seen the cards this cold. I mean, we know the public loses, but do they not like it when they get a whipping, the rare one?
Well, look, nobody likes it when nobody loves losing money, but there are two things. One is there's awareness about it, and somehow the casinos seem more human when they're losing. And then second is it softens you up for the next bet. I know that there are a lot of people who say, I'm not going to bet on anything in Vegas because I can't win. Well, here's a good example of how you can win. So then you come back and you bet twice as much next time, you lose your shirt. So that would be the only reason why people in Vegas would be happy about it. But net, you and I both know that even if the casinos lose a little bit in the short term, they're going to win in the long term.
That they do. All right, last year, 47 of the top 50 network programs were NFL football games. This weekend, the conference championships coming up, the numbers for the wild card and everything else up. And the rights are up in 2022. What do you think it's going to cost CBS, ABC, ESPN, Fox, NBC? How much are they going to go up? What will that number be?
Well, the beauty of what the NFL has done is everybody's speculating now. You see, I wrote that some people are speculating that CBS may lose the afternoon package to NBC. Maybe then CBS gets Sunday night. Everybody wants a piece of the programming. And then the other piece is Google, Amazon, all of those folks, are they going to be doing this as independent digital bidders, or are they going to joint venture with the big guys to put together a whole integrated package? Personally, I'd like to see one big package for 4 or 5 different groups, because then it's coordinated between your digital and your over the top. So one gets a Sunday night package, one gets an afternoon package, one gets a Thursday package, and on and on. But the I'm not going to tell the NFL how to make money. They know exactly how to make money. So net, I think it'll be up anywhere from 30 to 40%, even more.
Any chance Monday Night Football makes a return to a network and off of cable?
Well, they're paying $1 billion. They're paying a lot of money. And so ABC thought at the time that having it on ESPN would be good for ESPN as a brand, just like last night's national championship is good for ESPN. And it worked well for them. And there's still this feeling that you've lost something if it's not on quote-unquote real network. That's 10 years ago. Most people think that they don't think that way anymore with ESPN. It's still a real network. But you never know. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe ABC takes half the games and ESPN takes the other. Just thinking.
I'm with you. I thought 10 years ago when that move was made, taking Monday night off from ABC and putting it on ESPN. But I think it accomplished exactly what they wanted it to, which was to make us think, doesn't matter. ESPN is its own big-time value network. If I do my math right, that's $5.5 billion that they're getting just from TV and streaming rights from DAZN. If that's true now, how much can that go up? I mean, what $8 billion can they get? What's the number they're going to get?
Yeah, I think that might be a realistic possibility, and that's the lifeblood of the NFL. When you think about it, even though if it's 8 or 9 or 10, the annual target that Roger Goodell wants to get for total revenue is up to $25 billion by the next contract. So, listen, it's not just television; it's everything else, but it's all tied together.
I would almost bet that the answer to this is yes. Did you know Ed and Steve Sable?
Oh, yeah. No, there were real visionaries in their time. Certainly Ed.
I'm so glad now both will be in Canton, and what they did for years out there just with a camera and one or two people for a lot of the late 60s and 70s, how they, with John Facenda, the narrator, what they did for branding the NFL, they are Hall of Famers. They were revolutionaries.
They are, and they should be. And when you think about it, what the Hall of Fame is doing to have David Baker's a friend. He's a contributor in my book. He got a lot of publicity this week. First with Tower on CBS, then Jimmy Johnson on Fox. Surprising them with the Hall of Fame announcement the day ahead of the announcement, the official announcement. That's brilliant to watch those guys sincere and crying about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was great.
They really caught it really well, and the Hall of Fame ceremony itself, the announcement, now it's announced, but the kind of meet and greet people during that NFL honors thing on the Saturday night before the Super Bowl, that's going to be huge.
I'm trying to remember, did Roselle have a relationship with Ed Sable? How did he start that with his son?
Yeah, I do not remember the full story.
Steve Earhart will know.
Yeah, clearly. And the bottom line is that, NFL, can you imagine NFL football without the 1st and 10 line, for example, even? Remember when that started? And now if we saw a game without the 1st and 10 line, we'd want our money back.
Yeah. All right, last thing for Rick Coro, our business and entrepreneur genius.
Wow.
Top Golf. I mean, we all say golf numbers are down and golf's dying. I just can't get over this because, by the way, the guy who is the president of Top Golf is a graduate of the University of Memphis. I know it started in Dallas, but he started in Memphis. You write that company is now valued at over $4 billion? That can't be right.
That's what the IPO will be if it comes out as an IPO, and it should, because look at what they're doing. And also, China, India, a lot of the growth countries, you go around the country now and you look around even airports, because that seems to be the best place that they're getting them, and you see these branded Topgolf fences, and it's Topgolf.
Yeah.
And they've got this well-oiled machine where you go into town, you get the permits, you find the right land, you build a facility, and you get a land lease, and multiply it by 100, 200, 300, 400, you can easily see why it's worth $4 billion.
Kills me we don't have one. They got one in Birmingham, for goodness sake.
Wait, you don't have one? You don't have one in Memphis?
No, we don't.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. The guy went to school here.
Yeah, I thought you said the guy graduated from the University of Memphis. Does he
well,
listen to you guys?
I think they looked at property by Mud Island, and I just don't know why they've never pulled the trigger on it. Maybe they don't think the demographic is right. I don't know. It's sad.
So you're telling me a city that supports the St. Jude Classic has no demographics for golf? What are you, nuts?
I'm with you. Well, you tell me then. This is your next homework assignment. Why is it Topgolf is not in Memphis?
Wait, I raised the question that you don't know what you're talking about because you don't have an answer. Now you're giving me the homework assignment? All right.
He's good at that, Rick.
That's the way I run, Rick.
All right. If that's the way you run, I'll pacify you. I'll make up some answer next week.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you, Rick.
appreciate it. Rick Oro from Harvard and the NBC family of stations.
And Rick's right. Before you get to it, you see it on the horizon with the netting and, and the metropolis that it is.
You can see it from the highway.
You can.
In Birmingham.
Approaching it in West St. Louis. There it is.
Have y'all ever been to one?
No, I haven't.
I have never been to one.
I'm really fun. I mean, and there's actually a lot more to do than just hit golf balls and play games.
Oh,
I mean, they've got
there's
restaurants,
alcohol
balls.
And women.
I mean, the one in Nashville has a
Nashville's got one.
It has a concert hall. They have concerts there.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
you saw me hit my last golf shot, 271 on the machine.
I wish
you should have seen it. I mean, that might as well have been
Tiger
Woods up there.
I hate to tell
Jay
you
Hasselman can confirm.
Can I tell you this? This is bad news for you, but there is another Edwin Watts remote in our future.
Dave.
What's going to happen when you go down to 180?
Dave, you missed it on a big day.
Oh, I see.
And I kind of necked it a little bit, didn't I?
A little bit, yeah. He didn't even get square on the club.
Must be the new technology. This portion of the show is brought to you by Supercuts. Supercuts.
Jay Hasselman said 271 feet.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, especially if you necked it.
Yeah.
Speaking of necks, though, I want you to shave that neck. Supercuts will do that for you. You know they do. Supercuts, you go in there and you just ask about any kind of cut, and I'm going to guarantee you the hairdresser in there will know exactly what you're talking about. That's their business. They know all the new trends. They know every new haircut, and it matters, all the details. That's what they're about. That and the hot towel finish, that's the way you end every haircut. And there's 15 of them now. 30 years ago, one. They get new ones every 2 years. Probably won't be too long. We'll be getting our 16th. I promise you. That's the way they roll. Supercuts. The Czech family does just such a good job. Go to supercuts.com. You'll find the location that's nearest to you. Walk through the door, and when you walk out on the other side, you're going to feel good. Why? Because every time you walk out of Supercuts, you're going to look good. Back in a minute, we put a wrap on hour number 2 of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
And the coach calls timeout.
Wait a minute. You can't call timeout when you have leaks and Mother Nature is roaring through your home.
A technical foul from outer space may be in order.
Don't know about that, but we can measure your roof from outer space at BrianElderRoofing.com.
So if you need repairs or wondering if you think you may have a claim,
call me before you call your insurance company. And we've got 0% interest for 60 months with approved credit. We won't try to sell you a new roof if all you need is a repair.
My friend Chris Price, a longtime donor of the U of M. Call him, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
God bless America, Penny and Mike, and go Tigers.
And now back to the game.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Final segment of our second hour, and there's somebody on the Twitter who goes...
Facebook.
Is that Facebook? Is Dave Aranda going to Baylor? Well, the rumor that we're hearing
pretty
the most
strong
now is no, not Dave Aranda. Justin Fuente. You know what? Justin Fuente would be really smart.
He sure would be.
To get out of Blacksburg.
Fresh start, new clock.
It hasn't gone well the last couple of years for him there. Now, he was stuck with Foster being his DC. Now Foster is gone. He retired. He's been able to bring in his own guy, but he could take him with him to Baylor because he's got a short leash there. If that's a bad year next year,
fire him.
I think he's fired. I think he was, sort of flirting with it this year.
A 500 year and a back-to-back loss to UVA.
I think, the smartest guys, guy like Seth Greenberg. Seth Greenberg was going to be fired at South Florida. There was no question about it. He had really good teams. They couldn't beat Memphis. They couldn't win that conference. People were starting to get tired of him in Tampa. So what did he do? He got the job at Virginia Tech.
Fresh start.
And 5 guaranteed years. And that's exactly what Justin Fuente will get if he moves to Baylor.
The king of the reboot fresh start in college basketball is Frank Haith.
Oh, no question.
Man, he's made it work.
But he's not getting the kind of money that Justin Fuente is about to get, or even the kind of money Seth Greenberg got to go from Tampa to Blacksburg.
And we remember Seth Greenberg here against the Tigers in '95 at Long Beach State.
That's right.
And it was kind of an ugly incident with a fan that night.
Really?
Yeah.
That one I don't remember.
He got into it pretty good with a fan.
As bad as Tom Crean used to when he was at Marquette?
And I was kind of in between. That was when everybody was at the desk, and I was there, and the fan was getting on him behind, and I heard it all. And security guard asked me what I heard and saw, and I said, I heard a fan. Coach didn't like it. He said, anything inappropriate? I said, nothing.
So nothing came of it?
No.
I'm curious as to when Connecticut comes to town. Because last year, it got a little ugly with Danny Hurley walking all the way to the other side where he had been heckled a bit. And I'm sure that the heckler's language and what he was saying was probably, or she, was probably inappropriate. But if you're a coach, you can't go to the other side and start picking on the guy.
No. And no, it's going to be quite a reception for him. I think he got it pretty good at the conference tournament, and that wasn't the A team sitting behind him at the American Athletic Tournament last spring. He came back after the regular season incident for the tournament.
Right. He's different. I think I do think he's a good coach, but he is a different kind of fella.
Speaking of UConn, our buddy Pat Smith in Birmingham just tweeted this, that, boy, it's an ugly bottom line at UConn. UConn athletic department lost $42 million in 2019 after decline in ticket sales and league revenue. Football had a $16.6 million in reported expenses against $3.3 million in revenue. Athletic department lost $42 million.
So they lost almost $12 million in football?
13.
Or $13 million in football?
16 going out, 3 coming in.
To lose 40, you would think you'd have to lose more in football.
I would have thought so too.
Lose $40 million.
I'm just kind of shocked they made $3.3 million.
Really?
That's the shocking number in this story.
That they had 10 people go to games.
Don't forget, you are still getting $2 or $3 million from your football TV package.
Oh, bottom line, Dave got to it, didn't he? What is it the other day you knew the margins on it that I was surprised by? I said, how do you know the margins
First of all, I don't know why when it comes to any of these things you're ever surprised that I know
Dave,
this
you
stuff.
and Matt.
We had to teach you how averages worked a few months ago.
We did.
No, you didn't have to teach you. We went about figuring that out differently. That's all. It was our approach to that. The technique of how you get there, I know. Trust me. By the way, picks, golf, picks, football, it's all with lines and stuff. I don't know what your problem is. Got to take a break. Got to get out of here. We're back with hour number 3 in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
If it's time for a new gun, rifle, or silencer, Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville on Highway 72 is the best place to go. I promise they have the newest, most exciting selection of guns and silencers you could ever want. I don't care if you shoot for fun, hunt, or just need a gun for personal protection, Tactical Guns and Gear has the best selection of firearms around. The only one-stop silencer shop in Tennessee. In less than 10 minutes, they do all the paperwork. Take your photo, originate gun trust, take your prints electronically, and the best part, you never have to scan them again. Yes, silencers are legal. No special licensing, just a simple background check. Silencers don't make your firearms silent. They simply reduce noise for more enjoyable shooting, help protect against hearing loss, reduce recoil. It makes you more accurate. Best silencer place in the entire state of Tennessee, right here in Collierville. For all things guns and gear, ask for Jake or Jim at Tactical Guns and Gear on Highway 72 and tell them Eli says hi. Online at tacticalgunsandgear.com.
Experience true freedom in a Can-Am off-road vehicle. How? Through the Can-Am Holiday Sales Blitz that's happening now. From the valleys to the hills, from the dunes to the farm, they're ready. And they won't let anything get in their way, because this is where you ride best. Get to Olive Branch Motorsports for the Holiday Blitz sales event and get yourself a new Can-Am off-road vehicle at a great price. For a limited time, get up to $3,000 off on select 2019 models. Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road, or online at obmotorcycleatv.com.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal joins us next to talk about Tiger basketball and a big one tomorrow night at FedEx Forum, 6 o'clock, against our old buddies, the UC Bearcats. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Go online at DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the referrals about the good folks down in DeSoto County at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make, every model, and if by chance they don't have it on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees and a laid-back, down-home atmosphere. No high-pressure sales, but they do care about your time because they know we're living in a world today that time matters, and they want you to have the ultimate car experience. And that means you walk in, meet with your sales rep, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork done, you're gone in 45 minutes. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at DeSoto Auto Sales, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County to 5704 Goodman Road for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Our old friend Greg Hines from Windike texts me, says the Top Guy Golf, who was the top guy at Top Golf, is gone. He left the company.
Oh.
Didn't know that. He also said Nashville is the second largest of all the Top Golfs. So you're always astounded by my incredible knowledge of numbers.
You had
economic strategies.
And you had the margins the other day broken down for us on the Gwyneth Paltrow candle
Correct.
profit.
I did.
Very nice.
I did. What would you think the second highest
Speaking
grossing,
of candles. the second highest gross.
Second highest grossing Top Golf, which is Nashville, would bring in? What's the number?
Oh, I wouldn't begin to know.
This is astounding.
I couldn't even hazard.
It's a $4 billion company. We know that. Or will be once this IPO goes
$25 million.
Not enough.
50.
Too much. 36 mil. $36 million.
Can they make 30? Greg Hines, seriously, can they make 30% profit off of $36 million in gross?
I have no idea what that number would
Come on, Mr. Margins. Now, you know and I know there's something in there to me from Greg Hines. At the bottom of that text has got to be, by the way, tell Brett Hale State. Because he's a big bully.
He is. I don't know. He has not heard this segment. He sent that in when we were, I guess, talking to Ricardo. But I'm not as quick with that phone.
But he had to get Egg Bowl digging at me, didn't he?
Oh, he did not. He never even mentioned that. That was kind of dumb, the way that thing ended.
I was there, Dave.
I know you were. I don't mean to bring up anything painful. $36 million, man. That is unreal. That one little. I do wonder.
Do we go in or 10th grader when we talk about the candles?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even middle school. We might go that far.
Yeah, we do, seriously. Have to find out what the markup is. What's profit coming out of that 36 million?
Yeah, if you made 10%, you got a heck of a good.
3.6.
Yeah, you got a heck of a good living.
I would have to think it's higher than that.
And do they buy those like dealerships, like franchises, or is?
That's a good question, too. But I was always under the assumption the company itself owned each franchise. I could be wrong.
Jason Munns covers golf.
Well,
he may know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We'll throw it on him.
All right, Jason Munns. Big question for you. Forget is Precious going to play. Forget is Lester Quinones going to play against Cincinnati tomorrow. Top Golf, is it owned by the company or is it franchised out?
Man, put me on the spot. I don't know, guys.
Well, neither do we.
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Yes, second
I
time
thought it was owned by Tom Dundon.
Well, that's right, the AAF guy.
Yeah, I thought that was Tom Dundon's outfit.
Full circle in about a year for us, isn't it, Jason?
Wow. There's how you can get your money, Drew. Go sue Top Golf. I'm sure it's protected somehow, some way.
A year ago, you were getting ready for you were at training camp right now, weren't you, with the AAF and Express?
I was. Yep, down there in San Antonio. It's been, because I remember it was the same week as the coaches convention down there in the same city, and I know that's going on right now. So it was. Whew, time flies.
Since you bring that up, we're really, what are we, 2 or 3 weeks away from the XFL? I predict it.
Yeah.
I think the XFL is going to make it. I think they'll play a championship. There'll be a second year.
Little bitty rumor out there that Vince McMahon, being the showman extraordinaire that he is, that's unarguable, undeniable that he can do that, might make an offer that he cannot refuse to Trevor Lawrence, and that's the end of his Clemson days. Play there a year and then get drafted in the NFL next year.
Well, wouldn't that be something? If that started happening, that would be that would ensure a second year, I would think.
What would that offer have to be? What if you're Trevor Lawrence and his family
for 1 year?
It's a 1-year deal. You know you can still go to the NFL. $10 million?
What's yours, Jason?
Yeah, that's the first number that popped into my head. I mean, it's got to be worth it to leave behind, a sure, not a sure thing to the college football playoff, but I mean, you got to make it worth his while, and so that was the number that first came into my head.
The mean side of me would be this: how much is my head coach making at Clemson next year?
Ooh,
well, he's making 7 or 8.
I want what he's going to get for next year.
No, I want more. Because here's how I'd look at it. What will I make if I come? If I were entering the draft, what is the slot for the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 player taken
over the life of the contract?
Over the first year,
10 or 15 million.
No, that's what I'd want. I'd want at least that, and I'd still get insurance.
But for for an experimental league, I mean, I don't know. That's a dangerous precedent. I mean, if that's your starting point, if you're Vince McMahon and that's your starting point, wow, goodness gracious, that's you're going to be digging into those pockets deeper and deeper.
Well, it's the market real high.
And it's not necessarily something you're going to do every time, but it's something that you do to start a league. It's
make a splash,
seed money. That's what it is.
And he's got it.
And if it's $9 or $10 million, you actually, if you're the agent, if you become the agent of him, and you know that you're this curiosity and you're bringing in this much attention, he might ask for 15 and still get it.
Yeah, it's possible.
It is possible. All right. So the first question really that was out there today at the Penny Hardaway press conference at the Lori Walton Arena practice facility was basically, what's the story on Precious Achiuwa, and what's the story on Lester Quinones, and are they going to play tomorrow?
That was pretty much exactly how it was phrased, and I had heard, I think most of us had, that Precious was dealing with some type of ankle injury. I had caught wind of it earlier today from someone close to the program who told me that he rolled it up a little bit in practice yesterday, but that it didn't prevent him from, he didn't have to leave practice. He was able to finish practice normally. What I was told is that he probably would be a little bit sore today, but he thought, the person that I spoke to thought that that Precious would be fine to go, and it seems like that is the case. Penny, when we asked Penny about that this afternoon, he said that he said it a couple of different ways. He said he was going to start the same 5 that he started against South Florida, which obviously would include Precious Achiuwa, and he also said he fully expected Precious Achiuwa and Lester Quinones to both play. Like I said, he said it a couple of different ways, and yeah, I mean, he was a little more vague, or he didn't really go into why there would be any question about Lester Quinones playing tomorrow. But so still some mystery there, but he seems to be confident that both Lester and Precious will play tomorrow.
He did kind of seem surprised that Lester Quinones was asked about, and then in the most strong sense, he said, I expect both those players will be on the floor playing tomorrow.
Yeah, and then later he said he was going to keep the same starting lineup. So, I mean, if there was, of course things could change, but if there was a question about whether Lester would play, whether Lester would start, he seemed to answer it by saying that he would keep the same starting lineup. But yeah, no, I don't think he was expecting the Lester part of that question. I mean, I don't know if you caught it, Wolo, when he first came in, Terry Davis asked him if everybody was healthy, and I think he was talking about the flu. And Penny just sort of looked at him and said, "Why would you ask me that?" He kind of.
Yeah, I did. I caught that. Yeah.
Yeah, seemed like he was a little off guard that was even on anybody's mind.
Boy, Jason, that Tiger beat, and you knew it eyes wide open when you dived into it, and we've known it forever, watching it and following it around here. Everything gets noticed, and it really always has. But now there's a lot more different avenues for everything being so paramount. And with that, on Sunday afternoon, when they were down 14, I was watching, and I'm thinking, I may have texted you a time or two, Jason. It's going to be noisy and loud if this continues to slide the other way. But it didn't. They fought back on the road and won the game. The good side of the comeback is not near the reaction on these airwaves and around town and in your interaction as if that 14-point deficit had been expanded out to 17 and the Tigers lose 87-70. Metaphorically, this place would be on fire.
Oh, it'd be full blown panic. People wouldn't. The fans wouldn't just be hitting the panic, pressing the panic button. They'd be full on palming the panic button.
They would be chewing the electrical outlet to it.
And I don't know. I mean, I think that would be overreacting a little bit, but I don't know that it wouldn't be that far out of left field to think that 3 straight losses, a game they should have won to Georgia at home. Wichita State is what it is. That's a good team. It's a tough place to play. It's a good coach that you're going up against, and the matchup just doesn't really favor Memphis. I mean, that to me is not getting talked about enough. It's just the matchup.
And the Tigers didn't play well.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They didn't play well, and you still had DJ Jeffries and Damian Baugh, two of your starters at that point. Still, were coming off the flu. So, you look at it. Wichita State struggled at home against East Carolina, not a good team. Had to go to double overtime on the road to beat a UConn team that had just lost like one of their better players. I just think Wichita State matches up really well against Memphis. And then of course the South Florida game, they're 8-8 when you go down there. Haven't really played anybody all season. Yeah, if you lose that game at the end of this 3-game stretch, then it's some really, really, really hard questions are being asked. But they didn't lose. And I think the reasons why they didn't lose is because they settled on a lineup. They stopped. Penny stopped substituting so much, and they stopped turning the ball over. And I think those two go hand in hand. And that's really what it came down to. And so, those were some of the questions after the game. Penny, what are you going to do with the rotation? Penny, what are you going to, or with the lineup? That sort of thing. And then what are you also going to do about the turnovers? And he seemed to, he was like, I know now why we're turning the ball over. There's enough of a sample size for me to be able to pinpoint it, and I'm going to address it. And then he also said he didn't come out and say he was going to shorten the rotation, but Isaiah Maurice didn't play at all against South Florida, and I don't think Jaden Hardaway played very much. So, it's pretty apparent that he understands what the things that need to be done in order for them to win games.
I think when they went down 14, and I don't know, what was there, 8 or 9 minutes left in the game when Collins had that dunk? Mm-hmm. I did not think they were going to come back and win this game. And I thought, this is going to be a 3-game losing streak, and this city is is going to be losing its mind, and they're going to question the coach and everything else. This team, though, has some sort of resolve. They've really come back. Even at Wichita, they came back. When they were down 19, they cut it to 6. And unfortunately, ALO had 2 really bad turnovers, or that game could have gotten tighter. And I believe Wichita State would have gotten tighter with that crowd the way they are. Sometimes that can turn against you, and it didn't. I do beg to differ a little. I think South Florida's a little better team than people give them credit for. They took Utah State to double overtime. They took Florida State to within 6, and they blew the game. I mean, one thing about Brian Gregory, if you want to criticize him, is he's had a problem this year and last with his team finishing games when they've had teams just about put away, and he had Memphis just about put away. But I think they'll win more games than you think. The thing with, DJ and Ball, we can say they were both sick. What are we going to say about Boogie Ellis? What's going on with a kid who was at that pro day? People were going, oh, my goodness, he might be the best pro prospect because they still had James Wiseman. Right. And he's a kid that played well in the Bahamas. What has happened to him? He's had one good game, and that was the one in Brooklyn against NC State.
I think, to be quite honest, I think it Penny has said this before. He's a perfectionist, and if he's not perfect, then he kind of goes the other direction. And he's very, very hard on himself. He's a tough, a very, very harsh critic of his own self. And when he doesn't play well, and I think some of that is true. And along with that is when you are that way, and you keep struggling, then it tends to snowball even further and further and further and further. It just seems like he has. I don't know if he's past the point of no return, but look, we're 16 games into this season. He's had 4 games where he has scored in double digits, and in those 4 games, he's averaging like 16.5 points a game, something like that, which is really, really good. But the other 12 games where he scored 9 points or fewer, he's averaging, off the top of my head, I wrote it in my story, I think it's something like 3.8 points per game. Like when he's good, he's pretty good. When he's bad, and it's not very often. And then when he's bad, which is more often, he's really bad. And I don't know the answer.
Confidence?
I think that's probably it. I think that's probably the biggest. I think it's a combination of things, but I do think mentally that's the biggest issue. He can't seem to get out of his own head, and that's what if he's going to turn it around, he's got to quit thinking, quit worrying about all the outside stuff, and just let it flow.
Is it one eye on the bench? Is he worried about playing time?
Well, if that's true, and he is, well, then he sees now what that did for him. Worrying about the bench got him put on the bench, and so we'll see how he responds to that. He didn't play well again coming off the bench. He started all 14 or 15 games beforehand. Send him to the bench, he puts up a goose egg. So he's in a deep slump. No shots are falling. He's doing fine. He's not turning the ball over a ton. He's getting some steals, but I don't think his defense outside of the steals, I don't think his defense has been particularly good. And he's rebounding the ball fine, well enough, but I think he's averaging 22 minutes a game right now, and if he can't pick it up, that's going to keep going down and down and down and down.
I just don't know what the answer to that is. I really am baffled by it. Damian Ball, I'm a little baffled by too. He has not progressed. It's third, fourth game of the year. He's really not stepped up.
My thing with Damian is he has flashes. He scored. He played really well against Tennessee, both offensively and defensively. He made a couple of plays in that game that were really, really clutch. And then I want to say there was a game. It was whatever game he hurt his shoulder at the end and had to come out, where he scored 15 points. maybe Tulane. I think it may have been Tulane, where he scored 15 points and had a really nice game. So he's shown flashes, but 44 turnovers in 16 games, it's not going to cut it. I mean, that's your point guard, and he was your starting point guard, and you're turning it over that much. I know Alo's got a decent number of turnovers, but he's playing more minutes than Damian, and
he doesn't have as many. And he did.
Yeah, right.
And for those that think Penny doesn't have an offensive scheme, Alo was asked the question today about the pick and rolls at the end and why the turnovers started to stop at that particular moment when it was on the line. They were able to take care of the ball down the stretch, and that's part of the reason why they won the game. And he went into a rather complex discussion of their strategy and the way their offense works. And I thought that was a good sign because, one, he knows it. If you can articulate it the way he did, he knows it. And it also would tell anybody that wonders if Penny and Mike and Tony and Cody Toppert, if they've got a plan, well, he just absolutely told you in plain English what it was.
Yeah, he did, and that will get transcribed, I'm sure, very soon, and put it out there for everybody to see because he did. He went on for a couple of minutes where it seemed like he didn't even take a breath, and he sounded like a coach.
He did.
He sounded like a veteran coach at that.
I'm calling it now. He will be someday. 2040, Alo's head coach of the Tigers.
I will say this. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'll bet by 2040 he's a coach.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're
got it written all over him.
Or mayor.
Yeah. Let's go back to those turnovers. And, Penny is talking about one or two dribbles too many, each guy, and
too much dribbling.
And maybe that is a part
said
of it.
Every coach.
You also said about shortening the rotations, and I wonder, with all the different lineups and rotations that he's had and players coming in and out, if that – and I understand fatigue is a factor, especially if you're going to play at the pace Memphis wants to play, but I think that has to be a contributing factor. When you play so many different guys, so many different combinations – that you don't get enough playing time with each other to get the chemistry that would avoid some of these turnovers.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And it's not just it's not like you look up every game through these first 16 games and you see the same lineup over the last 6 to 8, 10 minutes of a game. Memphis is still rotating heavily even deep into these games. Really, South Florida, I would say Tennessee too, maybe. Some of these closer games, the Ole Miss game, I think the rotation was shortened toward the end of games. But even barring a handful of examples, he's still rotating very, very heavily. And that you're absolutely right. That does not do much for getting guys on the same page when you're just constantly shuffling in this guy here, that guy there. It makes it very, very difficult. But, I mean, I'm reasonably confident that is going to start fading away because I think, the proof is right there to see. You did it against Memphis, goes out against South Florida and basically quits substituting in the last 8-9 minutes of the game and look what they did. I saw a stat on Twitter where somebody said that through the first 30 minutes of the game against USF, they were on pace to score 55 points. Over the last 10 minutes, if they had played the way they played in the last 10 minutes, they were on pace to average 95 points or score 95 points.
Wow.
In that game. So, the proof is right there.
Last thing for Jason Munz, beat writer for the Tigers in the Commercial Appeal. Thank goodness you're still working at the Commercial Appeal. They seem to be sending guys everywhere these days.
Yeah.
And that is, I really enjoyed your history of those Dana Kirk, Lee Fowler, Keith Lee.
I knew it would be.
John Wilfong teams. That was fantastic. When's the next one, though?
Well, we're hoping next weekend. but it's looking more and more like it's going to be the following weekend. So 2 weekends from this upcoming weekend, and there's going to be 5 of them. And I'm still doing interviews, and I'm probably gonna. Wolo, you were part of the first one. I can't thank you enough for your time. And I know I talked to Stats as well. And I'll probably circle back around to both of you guys before it's all said and done.
No sweat, because we love reading them. We love reading them.
Yeah,
I love the memories.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been really, really fun.
It was some good old days.
Thank you, Jason. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason.
Talk to you next week.
Really do. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow night at the ballpark. That is a 6 o'clock game, by the way, between the Tigers and the Bearcats. This portion of the show is brought to you by the commissary. Hey, Uncle Stats, you got a 6-pack you can give away tonight?
I just happen to do compliments of Walker Taylor at the Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. Good for either place. 6-pack of barbecue if you can answer this question. Phone lines only. We'll take it after the break at 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line. Sunday, Patrick Mahomes could punch a ticket to the Super Bowl. His dad pitched in Major League Baseball. Who did he play his rookie season for in the Bigs? Who did Pat Mahomes play his rookie season for in Major League Baseball?
Wow.
The father of.
I'm glad that's Googleable because I would not have known that one.
360-8255. Line up. They're lining up.
They are lining up.
We know what you do. Line up and then Google.
You know why?
They want that good cue.
Because they want that commissary, too. And you can get it at 2 different locations now. The original Germantown commissary, the new Collierville commissary, not so new anymore. Poplar and Houston, Levy Road, triple the size, drive-through. If you're going tomorrow night, you're going to go to the game. Now you're rushed. It's a 6 o'clock game. Don't be rushed.
No need.
No need to. You can pick it up on the run, in the drive-thru, take it home, gobble it up, and go. Or, I got a feeling, game's over at 8. On the way home, you can go to either of the commissaries.
Just pass those ribs around in the car.
You could do that. Ribs, well.
You get a little messy, then go to Car Wash USA.
Yeah. I guess that's a way to do it. But if you want great Q, we got it for you at the Germantown and the Collierville Commissary, Poplar and Houston Levy Road. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get a winner and a whole bunch more still to come on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
And the coach calls timeout.
Wait a minute. You can't call timeout when you have leaks and Mother Nature is roaring through your home.
A technical foul from outer space may be in order.
Don't know about that, but we can measure your roof from outer space at BrianElderRoofing.com.
So if you need repairs or wondering if you think you may have a claim,
call me before you call your insurance company. And we've got 0% interest for 60 months with approved credit. We won't try to sell you a new roof if all you need is a repair.
My friend Chris Price, a longtime donor of the U of M. Call him, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
God bless America, Penny and Mike, and go Tigers.
And now back to the game.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elders Roofing Solutions.
If If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Ruddock Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day, group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
I'm here with Robert Cox, kitchen manager of the Rendezvous Restaurant. Tell us about those great ribs at the Rendezvous.
Rendezvous stands alone in a unique barbecue style, only found in Memphis, Tennessee. We don't smoke our ribs, we char broil them. The guys cooking our ribs have been doing it for 30 years. Mr. Charlie Virgos taught the guys the technique himself, and still to this day, they teach newcomers that come in the door. After our ribs come out the pit, we pre-cut every order, so you easily can tear them apart. We baste our ribs on a plate and sprinkle our season all over them.
So Robert, are ribs what everyone comes to the Rendezvous for?
The beef brisket is now our second best seller behind the ribs. We also have lamb riblets, half chicken, pork shoulder, chopped chicken, cheese and sausage plate. Nachos are fantastic. We also carry a Greek salad. The list goes on.
Robert, where can we find out more about all of these great options?
Our restaurant menu is online at hogsfly.com, and recently we just added our catering menu online.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous Restaurant, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis in the alley since 1948.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Home stretch on a Wednesday. Hey, this
you
is
could say a
our
Pat Mahomes stretch.
We could. The Pat Mahomes stretch, because the Germantown commissary, Collierville commissary question out there, the big Q is, we all know who Patrick Mahomes is, and he could be playing in the Super Bowl in a few weeks. Kansas City has to get by the Titans, and that'll be a fun game on Sunday.
His dad pitched for everybody, but who did he make his rookie debut with in the show?
What team did he come up to the big leagues with? His rookie debut. If you know, you get a 6-pack of Germantown Collierville Commissary Barbecue. Dwight, you're up first. You know the answer.
Hey, Boat Stats. Yeah, I hope I do. Always listen to you guys. Y'all are great.
We appreciate that.
I believe it's Minnesota Twins.
The Twins.
Bingo.
The Twins in 92. Very good.
92. Gosh, you would think a guy who had
21-year-old rookie in 92.
92. Man.
He pitched for Minnesota, the Mets, Boston, Pittsburgh, Texas, and the Cubs. That's everybody.
That is a lot.
And I'm looking it up at Baseball Ref.
Once you say Chicago, that's the Cubs. That means you.
I thought you were a Southsider, too.
Well, I like them both. Either way, you're a winner there.
Well, you just took a shot at them, didn't he, Dwight? Dave took a shot at the White Sox, didn't he?
But Stas, I mean, what was his career, 10, 12 years long?
11. I'm looking at it.
You can't beat that, getting that kind of money.
Oh, heck no. And I guess I probably could go down to the bottom of his page. I don't know if baseball has it as much as the NBA. The NBA pages all show you career earnings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if baseball does.
No. I don't think it does.
Oh, yeah, it does too.
You're kidding.
Career earnings?
How much?
About $2.7 million.
That's that's a quarter of what his son's making.
But that went a long way, Dwight. Yeah.
Yeah, well, back then, especially as a good money manager, instead of, blowing it, which too many athletes do.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that they're not going to have to worry about money, especially with that son. Because that son is making 4 times in 1 year what he made career earnings.
And the next deal could be
that'll be
$100 million.
Yeah. I would suspect it would.
Dwight, we're going to put you on hold. Way to go, Dwight.
Yeah,
Thank
Dwight,
you, man.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Appreciate you listening. We're glad that you could win the
Now,
barbecue.
$2.7 million earned over about 15, 20-year career. He, that's not you go away and do nothing money, but that's pretty good.
Well, first of all, that was career earnings, right? 2.5.
Yeah.
But you walk away with about half of that.
That's true.
So,
I mean, he had to work.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't. When he retired in what, 03 or 04?
Yeah.
I don't believe he just sat back and counted his money and looked at the miracle. I love the way you said the miracle of compounding interest.
It works, Dave.
It does.
It really does. Man, I don't know who figured that up. But that was somebody smart. Little bit now, and in a long time from now, a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really works.
It does. And
it's fun to watch.
But I would rather have the son's earning possibilities.
He doesn't have to worry about the miracle of compounding interest.
I think once he's done, he can sit back and, of course, he'll still have that miracle too.
Who are you for this weekend? Drop your dream Dave Super Bowl.
Well, I think you know who I'm for in the San Francisco Green Bay thing. First of all, Green Bay is my mortal enemy.
Right.
And San Francisco is sort of been the story I've watched a lot this year.
Who do you sports dislike more, Cardinals or the Packers? Up against your Bears and your Cubs.
Boy, that's tough. They're both great rivals. I actually
There's not it. You don't hate the Cardinals. You don't, Dave.
I don't hate the Cardinals.
You do not. I don't hate the Cubs. I want to beat them.
I think both of those are really healthy.
Pretty fun to be in the ballpark, both of them.
Yeah. And
some say too healthy and too respectful and too collegial that we might need a little SEC stuff
it's
thrown
not like
in there.
Auburn and
I don't.
Alabama for sure.
I get enough of that in the fall, and I love that. I love that in the fall. But when summertime,
the fall, I hate to tell you, is also Green Bay and Bears.
It sure is.
Bears.
Now here's where the Cardinal Cub rivalry could take that nasty turn, and it can happen now. For a long time, it was never going to happen. They meet in an LCS with a ticket punch to go to a World Series. I think some of that both side collegiality stays at home, and a little more vim and vigor, and it gets a little more egg and iron and
maybe
Tigers in Louisville and
maybe
that kind of atmosphere.
Are we just gonna leave Dave basically dumping the Cubs and the Bears in 2019? Does he get a new start in the new decade? Are we giving him
Is
that
it up
pass?
to me?
It's up to you.
It's up to me.
You're judge and jury.
What are you talking about?
You gave up on the Cubs before Flag Day.
I gave up on the Cubs because I saw they were going nowhere.
Trashed them down the stretch.
Am I
and
supposed
you basically
to lie?
wrote Mitch Trubisky's
quote,
obituary.
Quote, gutless, end of quote.
Mitch Trubisky?
Cubs, when they Cardinals swept that series at Wrigley.
That was pitiful.
Quote, gutless, end of quote.
Did you have that on tape?
Well, we can.
I can find it.
Here's Rick Harrow being right. He's sending us off on this mission to prove him wrong.
Well, I want to see if he can find it. There's no way that he'll be able to find that.
We found the horn sounder of you making the horn noise, so we can find gutless.
Find gutless. I want to hear it. I definitely.
I will. I
want
will
to
find
hear it.
it.
Okay.
You said it.
What about the Minnesota, the Tennessee and Kansas City game? Do you have a rooting interest?
Yeah, I'm for the Titans.
You are for the Titans?
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not bathing in state pride with it or anything like that. And I'm not pro. I mean, I'm not wanting to move to Nashville. I like exactly right now where I live and work. But I'm for the Titans. I enjoyed the year they were here. I know why they came here. I know why they left early. I didn't like all of it, but it was all understandable.
You know
Look,
why?
we got used by a guy, and I was telling people that year, in the year of 97, be careful jumping into the sack with Bud Adams. He just turned his back on his hometown of 50 years for the newest, shiniest toy. You don't think he will dump on us? And, of course, he did.
Well, we dumped on him, and that's why he left early. That was purely he had to, in my estimation. Well, he did just such a poor job. First off, if we go back to
he was a joke.
If we go back to that, he demanded that we pay for them to come from Nashville to Memphis for the game.
He didn't even know
that was the silliest thing. And of course, he had to drop that immediately.
He didn't know Mayor Rout and Harrington's name.
He
called him Mayor Root and Harrison at the opening presser. And I think old Bud was a little tipsy that day, but okay.
Well,
it was the 90s. What the heck?
He really blew that, and there was so many.
You can't be drunk among friends.
Here's why I enjoyed the 1 year, because we got paid. I did ESPN radio. It was a gig. That's the only reason I enjoyed it. I never ever felt Memphis should have had that team.
I got to do pre-games. I got to do a bunch of stringing. I got to see the NFL in real games for the first for a continuum for the first time in my life. I had not been to many regular season NFL games up to that point. I bet you not more than 4 or 5 before that year. Got to see the Oakland Raiders and the Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville. I can tell you every game they played that year. I was at all of them, and it culminated on a really ugly weather day with the Steelers, and they were all Steelers fans.
All Steelers fans, yeah.
And he was out.
And I don't blame him for leaving.
I don't either.
I don't think he ever should have brought him here. I don't think he understood
He welched on us and got out of town.
The climate, because Memphis had worked for that team for like 2 generations, 20 years.
A lot of people very hard.
And then they just turned their back on Memphis and gave it to our biggest rivals, right? If we're talking about cities within our own touchy-feely thing, Nashville over Atlanta.
But probably. I don't cry myself to sleep if the Titans lose Sunday.
I will say this. I thought it was very interesting. Both columnists did stories on this week in both papers about how you should love the Titans because they're right down the street. And for me, I like good football teams. I like Mike Keith. I like a lot of people in the organization. I like Jeff Fisher, because he was a former Bear. But there is no way that I'm going to have any allegiance to a team that I never felt should really be in this state unless they're in Memphis.
And I'm not going to be rooting for the Titans, and not just because I'm salty for the loss, but I had to explain to somebody last Sunday. They're like, well, you're more than welcome to jump on our bandwagon. I always root for teams who beat me, and I had to explain to him I don't work that way, because last time I checked, the NFL doesn't have a ranking system where the better you do, the better I look, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to fill out a 68-team bracket, and we're going to play. So you winning really does nothing for me.
But
I do think this. I think they can win the game.
I love the Arthur Smith story.
I love Arthur Smith's story, too. I think that really is
and I love him.
Wonderful, and I'm so glad that he got a chance. And with that chance, look what he's done. And Mike Vrabel, you got to give Mike Vrabel a whole bunch of credit. The guy came in, and in year 2, he's just been sensational. Made the right decision to change quarterbacks, give the ball to a running back who's the best we've seen in a long time.
He needs 40 carries Sunday.
It has become.
He's got 2 weeks to rest.
Absolutely a terrific story. We got plenty still to do. We got crunch time coming your way in a minute. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Genesis of Olive Branch. That's the absolute pinnacle of luxury cars. That's where the bar has been raised. That's the new standard of incredible excellence, luxury, ride, acceleration, handling. Inside, plush. That's the best way I can put it. Inside, you can have on the back seat, you can be looking on the headrest. They've got, I'm not kidding, television monitors that are as big as a huge laptop monitor screen. It's amazing what they put in there, and the clarity And then there's all the other luxury items that you get. You know, the car will drive itself. Every safety feature there is. Then there's seat warmers, seat coolers, got a steering wheel heater. You just can't imagine all the technology that is in there. And it's so good, they give you a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every Genesis car. I got a G90. I can attest for it. If you like something a little smaller, a little more sporty looking, there's the new James Bond car in my mind. It's the G70. They got an SUV coming too. Go check out luxury like you've never seen before. Technology unsurpassed. That's Genesis of Olive Branch in Mississippi. We take our final timeout. We're back in just a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Fiveash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
The official NFL app has you covered on all things playoffs. Never miss a second this postseason, because the NFL app is your key to watch every game of the playoffs for free on your phone or tablet. Plus, get all the latest breaking news, videos, and highlights of your favorite NFL teams and players. Download today at nfl.com/mobile or in your app store. Certain restrictions and data rates may apply.
Experience true freedom in a Can-Am off-road vehicle. How? Through the Can-Am Holiday Sales Blitz that's happening now. From the valleys to the hills, from the dunes to the farm, they're ready. And they won't let anything get in their way, because this is where you ride best. Get to Olive Branch Motorsports for the Holiday Blitz sales event and get yourself a new Can-Am off-road vehicle at a great price. For a limited time, get up to $3,000 off on select 2019 models. Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road, or online at obmotorcycleatv.com.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of our show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and of course, the very famous now tune-up, the 16-point Super Safer Energy tune-up that you get, where they come in, and I mean, they really do clean it out. First, they will walk through the door. They'll put their little slipper things on, so they don't want to track up your house. Then they go in, and they do the inside completely, replace the filters, go outside, clean that, and then make sure everything is tuned up so that you save money. You know that every time you skip a tune-up, you're about losing 5% efficiency. Some of you are probably 25, 30, 35%. in the hole because of that. Stay warm with your heating system, but get it right so it heats the house correctly and your system lasts longer and you save money on your MLGW bill. $57. Are you kidding me? Call 384-3511, 384-3511. That's the number to Conway Services Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. It is time for Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working? It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Boop, boop, boop. That's what you're getting.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Drew, did we find Dave calling the Cubs gutless?
Not yet, but I've got some time over the next week. I'll have it in the crunch time loop by Monday.
Very good.
Here's what I say. Clueless is what you guys are.
We learned today, we're learning this year that Ja and Jaron are blossoming right before our eyes. But it's a group effort. It's timely shots by DeAnthony Melton. It's a plus 25 last night for Solomon Hill. Grayson Allen's helping. And Jonas Valanciunas with 19 and 6 last night. 6-1 in the calendar year for the 2020 Grizzlies. Red hot.
Here's what I learned. The debut is coming on January 22nd. Probably too late for the greatest college basketball player of all time.
That's a week from tonight.
To make a case to be Rookie of the Year
who said that?
In the NBA. Zion is finally going to play a week from this evening.
You said he was one of the top 10 you saw in your life.
He might have been.
A little hyperbole.
He had one great year.
Could have done without this morning. I turned on Hot Take TV and heard Mike Greenberg just killing Memphis and the Grizzlies on his morning show. He said in the box scores it should not say coach's decision did not play. It should just be they're playing Memphis, and was pretty nasty about it. Only way we can show, and the only way the Grizzlies can show he's wrong, is to keep growing and keep winning.
What would he possibly be saying that about this morning after they just knocked off Houston?
Because Russell Westbrook didn't play, and he was saying that they're puffing up a record against teams that are taking nights off when they play them, and nobody's really worried about Memphis.
Wow. Has he not seen Ja play? Has he not seen Jaren Jackson play?
He's your buddy from Chicago,
seen Dylan
not mine.
Brooks play?
You know Mike Greenberg pretty okay, don't you?
I know him. I mean, been to a wedding with him. I wouldn't say he's a buddy.
Hot Take
I do
TV
respect
this morning.
him, though. I really do.
I do too. I love him.
And I'm disappointed because I think he's got the wrong take on that take, honestly. Here's what I guess I could have done without. I don't know what the Mets are going to do. Rob Manfred has cleared Carlos Beltran, right, of possible discipline in the Astros sign-stealing scandal. But the Mets, his boss, they're not saying anything. Sources say the Mets are assessing the situation. Spring training is less than, a month away? And this is going to be his rookie season as a big league manager. Historically, the Mets have been sensitive to criticism in the New York market. I think a lot of people are saying he shouldn't be the guy. Will he ever get to be a manager?
Who do they hire? Who does Boston hire?
I don't know.
Some signs are indicating that Jason Varitek might be the new skipper in Boston. That would be smart.
Who are the Astros going to hire?
If it's somebody in the system and the organization, they knew too.
Right. You actually have, if you're going to find anything, you got to go outside.
Tonight, keeping a close eye on any more fallout from baseball's latest scandal, and can't baseball do a scandal? It sticks like glue to baseball. Any scandal. I don't know why, but it does. Spurs at Miami tonight. Got to keep an eye on that for the Grizzlies. Toronto.
Oh, the Grizzlies could take a one-game.
Then we start counting magic
San
number.
Antonio.
Toronto at Oklahoma City. Houston at home against Portland after a night off for Russell Westbrook. Grizzlies need to keep winning, but need those teams to lose as well. College basketball in the ACC, Virginia at Florida State. And in the SEC, Drew, you know what it is, one of my favorites.
Tennessee, Georgia?
The Iron Bowl on the hardwood.
Oh, gosh.
Auburn at Bama.
That'll be one-sided.
Tennessee at Georgia.
You're not watching
Vandy
and Arkansas?
Yeah.
Well,
watching it all. SMU, Houston.
You know what? I think it's actually going to be a decent game to watch. Creighton in Georgetown. That game is going to be.
You saw Creighton in the NIT, and you thought that would be next year's team, and they could be. They could make some noise.
They could be. SMU, Houston, Wichita State, Temple. And that's at Temple. Can somebody knock off the Shockers when they're on the road?
How good's the AAC?
I think it's got three decent teams. And they are Memphis, Wichita, and Houston.
How good's the SEC?
Better than the American.
I don't think light years better.
Not light years, but slightly better. Let's face it, Kentucky and Auburn are really good teams.
They are.
I don't know about Florida.
I don't know about anybody else, really. I think LSU. I think Arkansas.
I think LSU and Arkansas are decent. I think once Lamonte Turner got this surgery, that was the end of Tennessee. I know they brought in this kid who can shoot.
State had a big win last night. Needed it.
They did.
I think they're wildly talented.
We got to thank a whole bunch of folks, including TJ Reeves, Mike DeCourcy, Rick Horo, and Jason Mutz. Tomorrow, big show as always. I'll be with you at the start. Dan Horde, the voice of the Cincinnati Bearcats, will be with us at 3:30. Elliot Perry at 4. Russell Copeland, can't wait to hear what his take is on this weekend's NFL games. We got a guest coming from Kansas City at 5. At 5:30, Blake Lovell on all things hoops. So that'll do it for us today. The good news is there was some concern. Precious and Quinones, they're both going to be on the floor tomorrow night against Cincinnati. For Drew and for Stats, I'm Wolo. Have a great night, everybody. We'll do this again, same time, same place tomorrow.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Help us make room for our incoming inventory at Family Leisure. Save thousands on all floor model spas. Floor model play gyms up to 50% off. Patio furniture 10 to 50% off. Don't wait until May to purchase your swimming pool. Buy now and get scheduled for the spring installation. Additional discounts on all swimming pools, grills, fire pits, outdoor kitchens. Get to I-40 and Whidden Road. There's always something good at Family Leisure.
Family and fun come together.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
One thing I've learned over the years, no matter what you're buying, the smart thing to do is to buy from someone who sells quality products, delivers great personal service, and knows their business inside and out because they have over 2 decades of experience. When you're talking about insurance, it's more important than ever because you're counting on your agent to come up with a policy that's exactly what you need from a company you can absolutely depend on, be there when you need him, and save money all at the same time. When you deal with William Glass or any of their staff at the Glass Group, you're not only in good hands, you'll find out that you can put the money a lot of insurance companies spend on advertising on the World Series or college football or basketball in your pocket while you enjoy first-rate coverage on your home, auto, and business with things like Rate Lock on your car. So you're not canceled for a wreck or a speeding ticket. Guaranteed replacement on your home and contents, earthquake coverage, and outstanding rates for business on workman's comp, commercial auto, and any other business need you may have. Worried about mayhem? Call William Glass at the Glass Group, 843-1190. They'll handle it for you. 843-1190. When it comes to your pet, you want nothing but the best in boarding, daycare, and grooming, and we say thank you, Memphis, for voting Barks and Recreation #1 in Best Pet Grooming in this year's Memphis Most competition. We're also #1 in boarding with indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please while they're being cared for by the best staff in Memphis, one that includes overnight staffing to ensure the safety and happiness of your pet 24 hours a day. And we're #1 in daycare with indoor and outdoor play areas, individual and group playtime, 4 walks a day, and small play groups to make sure that your pet gets the individual attention they deserve. Make your reservations now at barksdaycare.com or call us at 901-509-0909. Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove, between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. There are 2 or 3 things in life that you simply can't live without if you live in the Mid-South. One of them is air conditioning. We take it for granted, never think about it, till it stops working, and then when you're miserable, you make the mistake of calling the big name company, and you pay way more than you should, or you call somebody who shouldn't be working on your lawnmower, much less something as important and complex as your HVAC system. When you need air conditioning or heating help, make the smart call to Dunn Heating and Air Conditioning at 494-9040. Brooke Dunn takes pride in his work. He'll treat you fairly, he knows his business, and he comes with the complete backing of the old Rain Man, and University of Memphis supporters will undoubtedly remember his grandfather, Coach Al Brown. Dunn Heating and Air Conditioning, 494-9040. That's 494-9040. Did you know that paying a traffic ticket is an admission of guilt? It is, and it could result in higher insurance rates and add points to your driving record, which could result in your license being suspended or even revoked. It's amazing how simple things can turn into major problems, and it's why no matter what legal problem you may have, you need to know exactly what your rights and your options are. You need an attorney who is only interested in one thing, fighting for you, and I've got one for you, Chelsea Rainey. You can call her for a free, convenient phone consultation at 901-647-4861. Traffic tickets, driving while impaired, drug charges, misdemeanors, divorce. If you live in the Metro Memphis area and you've been accused of a crime, you need to speak to attorney Chelsea Rainey about your options and your legal rights. Chelsea Rainey is dedicated to advocating and protecting your rights. Your initial consultation is free, and attorney Chelsea Rainey is always on call, always available at 647-4861. That's 647-4861.
You finally found it, the vehicle of your dreams. You know it's got everything you want, you just don't know the price. Until now, shop one price pre-owned vehicles today at AutoNation Ford Wolf Chase. Now, every pre-owned vehicle is clearly marked with our lowest price, guaranteed. That means no negotiations, no pressure, just one low price. And every certified AutoNation pre-owned vehicle is inspected in 125 different places, so there's no worries. Plus, your purchase is protected with a money-back guarantee for 5 days or 250 miles, whichever comes first. And as America's largest automotive retailer, you can shop one price pre-owned vehicles from over 250 stores coast to coast. That's something you can count on. Shop over 20,000 one price pre-owned vehicles at AutoNation.com or visit AutoNation Ford Wolf Chase. Drive pink, drive safe, drive now. AutoNation. Certain terms, conditions, and restrictions may apply. See store for complete details.
Southern Sports Report is being brought to you today in part by Gateway Tire and Service Centers, where there's always one thing you can count on. We go the distance for you. So before you hit the road for a trip across country or just across town, drop by any one of our 12 Memphis area locations. Whether it's tires or auto repair, you can always count on one thing. At Gateway Tire and Service Center, we go the distance for you.
Memphis Sports Radio welcomes you to the following presentation of Southern Sports Report.
Welcome back to Gateway Tire and Service Center's Southern Sports Report with John Rainey, the Rain Man. You can join the show by dialing 360-8255. Can't get to a phone? Email us at theboys@southernsportsreport.com. Southern Sports Report is being brought to you today in part by All-Star Sports, celebrating 38 years of excellence in sports handicapping. Eads Animal Hospital, better facilities, better equipment, and better staff add up to better care for your pets. Marks and Recreation, luxury doggy daycare and boarding in the heart of East Memphis. If your dog could speak, he'd say Marks. And of course, Gateway Tire and Service Centers. At Gateway, we go the distance for you. Phone lines are open and first-time callers are welcome, needed, and appreciated.